Welcome in, folks. Welcome in. Thank you all so much for your waiting patiently. Appreciate it. Excited to get back into some vampire. Andy, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm having some internet issues, which is why we're a little bit delayed getting them. But hopefully they should be all fit. And well, there might be thunderstorms later, so who knows what happened later on in the evening. But we're all good for now to start. We are a few players down this week, but that is fine. World of Darkness is one of these game systems where you don't necessarily need a full party as long as you don't do anything stupid. You should be all good. Um, don't know if I can speak for any of the players of that one because you have a list of things to do, and some of them might be more dangerous than they seem, and some of them might be less dangerous than they seem. So I'll let you guys figure that out. Um, but in the last session, we introduced 4 out of 5 of the player characters. We introduced the place that you're going to be using as a haven, which is a house on the edges of the city, in the sort of university district, the northern district of the city. Um, it's been abandoned for some length of time, at least the past 10 years. All the machinery and stuff was just kind of left to kind of rust, as if something had, maybe frightened or freaked out the work crew and they decided just to completely give up on the project. Um, you found that they were not quite coffins in the basement, but secure, heavy duty, cushioned cabinets that you could use during your day rest. Uh, and you even met the person who invited you all there, although they were masked and pretty vague, mysterious about who they were. But they made their intentions fairly clear. They plan on pretty much causing chaos and getting rid of the current status quo in the city. Which all of you are on board for various reasons and to different levels of intensity. Um, this individual told you that he had to leave. He was going to go and find the 5th member of what would be your coterie, to make sure that he wasn't doing anything stupid somewhere in the city. And sent a list of people and places he wanted the group of you to visit that might be beneficial in the long run to this plan. Some of these are well-known kindred in the city. Some of them are only locations with no names attached to them. And some of them kind of feel a little bit too easy. Like, one of your coterie members, one of the people on the list is her sire.
Yeah, I expected she'd probably just go in to go take care of that herself this session.
Yeah, she's maybe, yeah, a way either to weigh up how she's going to approach that question with her sire, or to just go ahead and do it. I'll talk to Anne about that during the week and see how she wants to handle that. Leaving the 3 of you with a list of things to do. I hope someone took a list, like a note on that list of things to do, because I don't know if I did. Because I've not got my notes loaded up. So you guys were to contact Faye Lawrence, who's Anne's character's sire. And that she's only just arrived back in the city, and she likes to kind of blow off some steam outside of a seedy bar and motel a few miles out of town. You guys were also to go to a cemetery in Burlingfax, which is like the next town over. to find the sort of the words completely escaped me. Like a sepulture of the Rhodes family in Berlin. In fact, there's no vampire's name attached to that. It was just the location. But all of you have been in the city long enough know that Oliver Rhodes was a kindred in the city. That he tried to overthrow the prince fairly recently, in very recent memory, from within the Invictus, and was, executed. He met final death for it. But that Rhodes has a number of childer, some of which aren't accounted for. But there's stories. He's one of these sort of Fentru who keep close tabs on his human family through the generations and likes to embrace from the same sort of pool of people that he's originally from.
Thanks for the hydration check,
You
Mika.
also had a address down in the city's south side where you're looking for an unaligned vampire. By the name of Dominic Grook. You're also to be in touch with the maiden within the Circle of Crone. And I'm trying to remember who that last was. It was a mosque in the city's west side. Oh yeah, and you're looking for a kindred by the name of Ashai Sina,
Was
who
not a
apparently
name, it
operates.
was a title,
Um,
right?
it's more like
The
it was like
Angel of Death.
Yeah.
yeah, she's vampire urban legend, or they're a vampire urban legend. There's no one that's ever actually, physically seen them, or as far as the story goes. And I think that was it. Was that the full list? 5 places? 6? Hey.
Yeah, I can't remember any other ones.
Yeah, no, I think that was it. Yep. So like Faye seemed like the easy one, but like we knew Anne wasn't going to be here this week, so up to you guys to pick which of those you want to start with, and how are you planning on approaching it? Oh, Wiki was one. Sebastian was not on the list, Roddy. Yeah, there was a Nosferatu down in the Necropolis by the name of Wiki as well. Thanks for reminding me of that one. But yeah, Sebastian wasn't on the list because Sebastian is the sheriff in the city, and I doubt anyone trying to overthrow the current prince would be sending you that direction, unless they really wanted you all to die really quickly. As an NPC, that you should probably keep your eye out for.
Okay, so are we... Is it the same day then, I assume? Same night?
Probably getting towards the end of that night, so you're probably deciding which one you want to start with, and then you guys will probably sleep for the day, and then...
We need to decide first, because I have a ritual that will help us.
No?
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Hey.
Well, since it will just be the 3 of us and this lovely little cohort going on our first operation, do you think we should maybe pick something that'll take a little bit more investigative work? Admittedly, I don't want to get into a physical altercation without the one who likes to hurt people for a living.
I am no fighter.
That was not apparent ever. So I'm glad you made that apparent. I've noticed him. He's
Oh, you may have noticed, Eric, that Hathor has a sheet now.
Yeah, I got it open. Thank you.
alright. Well,
Pretty good stuff.
what say you, almighty royalty, princess?
Oh, look at
person?
you being so polite for once. Oh, I'd love that.
I want you to know, I'm gonna break all my teeth from gritting them every time I talk to you.
It's okay. You're ugly anyway, so we're fine.
You must be not talking to me.
Well, I'm certainly not ugly.
Keep that in mind. Thanks. So what do you
Ugly on
think
the
we should
inside.
do? You who is qualified to give an opinion?
Oh, look at him. Just, it's so nice just to have him actually behave for once. I want to go to the graveyard. The one that had to go to the graveyard that we had to do research for. Like, that actually sounds like fun. Mostly because I want to go to a graveyard.
Admittedly, too, the Rhodes family is a very important story to get a proper handle on. I could only be led to believe we're being sent there to kind of trace down what went wrong with the supposed happenings of the Rhodes lineage.
Or maybe he's still alive. Maybe the final death was a ploy.
Oh, political conspiracy. That's always interesting.
Andy, does Boyar's call specify that they have to be unliving or that
Hmm.
they can't be final deathed, basically?
That was
Page 113, Chosen.
Bloodlines of Chosen. Yep. Got that. I think they might need to be alive. I'll find out for you in like 2 seconds.
That would literally answer a question for us. The next... Wake up.
Yep. It will at least give you some inclination of what you're aiming for.
Were we given a timetable?
No, because vampires, you live a long time.
So we are playing the long...
Mm.
the long feats, not just go find the people, we're starting a revolution, wake the fuck up, samurai, we got a city to burn. It's not...
Yeah. No.
Not French.
not
If
French.
in game we feel that we need to, take a bit of a time jump, we can do that.
I just
kinda,
want to
you know-
have enough time to, investigate stuff, right?
Yeah, because some things like investigation roles tend to be extended actions, which the time per role can be anywhere between 5 or 10 minutes to a few hours per role, technically in character. So there might be periods of time where you're making rolls for stuff that actually equates to a full night's worth of digging up information and whatnot. Bloodlines Chosen. Why aren't these in order? There we go. What page was it on again?
113.
Boyar's call. Okay, to perform prophetic ritual, you need to spear a quantity of your own fete on your face before lying down to sleep for the day. As the hours of daylight pass, the blood is transformed into a thin membrane. When you wake, you tear the membrane off, seeing the likeness of an individual who may be important to their situation from the shape, texture, and pattern of light and dark spots on the skin in the moments before it collapses to ash.
So I don't even specify who it is.
No.
It'll still work! I just didn't want it to be useless.
It will just give you essentially the more successes you get on the ritual roll, the clearer the image is going to be.
Oh, well, I have other shit that I can then use afterwards to, like, carry it out from there. Okay, so I'm definitely going to do that. We're going to the mortuary. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah,
The mausoleum, I think, was the word that I
Mausoleum.
was. Yeah, the Rhodes Hamley Mausoleum.
right. Well, we've got our destination. Shall we be off?
No, I need... Yeah, also the sun's coming soon. I don't know about you, but I don't feel like playing hide in the shadows for...
Right. Because that would be so awful. Alright. I understand.
Well, if we lose, we die. Yes, it would be awful.
Just don't lose.
Good night.
Right.
I'm getting incriminated.
I go to find a inconspicuous room that is still large enough to accommodate Hathor.
Yeah. So like pretty much the house is pretty much a blank slate at the moment for you guys to start to adjust to your own needs. So like if you need one of the rooms to be like a ritual area, then like over time you'll probably start adding all sorts of shit into
I
it.
have
That sort of
resources too. I have a ton of resources, so I can bring in my accoutrement.
But yeah, you'll be able to find a room that you can use for that. And that will be a
That die and modifiers.
the roll for Kruak is all Kruak rolls are manipulation plus occult plus Kruak.
4 plus 4 plus 2. The modifier's 10.
That's not a modifier if you just select all of those on your character sheet.
Oh, I don't click the spell roller on the second page.
Oh, you've already got that. What you'd probably want to do in there to speed all of that up would be to just add the dice pool in. So what the dice out was,
Which is 4, Kruak, which is 2, and manipulation, which is 4.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
then you just click that red D10 and it will.
Miraculously, I only got 2 successes out of that. That is
Okay.
holy fuck.
That's a dice pool of 10. Yep. It also costs you a point of Fite, which is your blood pool, which should be this moment in time should be at 7, but now down to 6. Okay, 2 successes. Okay, so yeah, you perform your ritual. You smear the blood like across your face, before you. Presumably, if you're staying in this house, you're going to use one of the secure boxes in the basement to sleep in. Yeah. So yeah, anyone who's still in the house after you perform this ritual, when you come down the stairs, you just see Seth's face covered in blood.
I'm wearing it with all the nonchalance that one might wear a mud mask.
Yep.
Like, it's just the way that it is, you know what I mean? Like how they taught me to do the rituals. How I gotta do the rituals.
New skincare routine,
Just like
I see.
open one of the secure cushion boxes in the basement and then lock himself in.
Thor is definitely like standing outside of it and not letting anybody
Yeah.
nearby.
Half hour probably just rest out in front of the vault. During the day.
Got a big old bone for her.
Yeah.
Gendered my own hellhound, I'm sorry.
Was anyone else staying in the house for this evening?
I'm going back to the penthouse.
We're going back to the penthouse.
Yeah, Ellen will probably stay in the house. Ellen really doesn't want to have to walk all the way home.
Cool. Yep. You take one of the other boxes.
The one on the far opposite.
far away
Isn't that-
from the crazy blood sorcerer.
Yeah.
Okay, and Daenerys, you head back outside, get in your car, and like floor it all the way back to the city centre where your sire's penthouse is.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you'll rest for the day. The sun comes up. It's summer, so it's quite late by the time it sets. You're probably talking about like 7, maybe even 8 p.m. before the sun starts to set. Guys are lucky we're not playing in Scotland, or else there'd still be sunlight right up until about 10. But yeah, sun sets. Your body sort of naturally come to, once you wake up on a new evening, it costs 1 point of Fite for your body to sort of animate itself. So if you all subtract a point of Fite from your character sheets.
I'm at 6.
Okay. Now we can suppose good time to explain how hunger and starving and all that sort of stuff work. Once you hit about 5 Fite, you start to get hungry. When you're at like 1 or 2 points left, that's when you're starving. What that generally means is like the sight or smell of blood might not necessarily make you frenzy if you're hungry, but like there's a chance that you might when you taste it. If you are starving, the sight or smell of blood might be enough to push you into a frenzy where you'll try and latch on to the closest thing to feed on. And you might not be able to control your bait. This is how most vampires end up killing the things that they feed on, because the beast takes over and doesn't want to stop until it's full.
They waited too long.
Yeah.
Is there by chance any juice boxes left in the?
There are some left in the fridge.
That's, as much as he was opposed to it, Adam is also going to take Capri Sun.
Yep. Okay. So, like, a single blood pack isn't generally enough to give you a point of Fate back. You probably have to drink like 2 or 3 of them, because it's not fresh, living blood anymore at this point. But like, both of you, between the 2 of you, you clear out what little's left in the fridge.
Boys gotta eat.
It's
Boys gotta eat.
probably enough there for each of you to gain 1 point back.
Back to 7. Let's go, baby.
And before you even do that, Derek, you wake up, you can peel
Your skin off.
the skin off. You sort of hold it up to the light to get a clear sense of like all the shadows and high points. The face that you're looking back at in that blood mask, it appears to be feminine. They have quite fine features. But even from that vague image, you get this sense of superiority from the face that you're looking at. It's not a familiar face though, but you reckon that if you've seen the person, you might be able to recognise them from what you've seen here. It's not a guaranteed because it's fairly vague with 2 successes, but like, it's a person who has a sense of superiority, and you know that they're female.
Can I use praise blood on this now? Or do I need their actual blood for that to prop?
You need their actual blood for his
That's fair.
blood. Yeah. But yeah, after a few minutes of studying it, it just crumbles to ash in your fingers.
Then, as I guess arrive to the common area, as Adam is finishing off the couple of sons that I am very hungry and kind of like very quickly make my way to the fridge, grab the other 2 remaining pouches, just like with my finger, cut them open at the top, and just.
Well, you guys are, getting used to waking up in a new place and having, your vampire coffee. Daenerys, you wake up.
I
you
have
can.
blood right there ready for me.
Uh,
As soon
you
as
have,
I wake up.
Oh, right, of course.
you have a herd.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got herd. I'm still going to require you to make a hunting roll for me. But the upside of having a herd is you get to add that as a modifier to any hunting rolls that you make. How do you tend to? Are you like a seduce humans and then munch on them sort of person, or like how do you typically go around feeding?
I mean, I felt like this was like my own, like if they're mine, like I don't have to be like romantic and let me go ahead and sweet talk them. Like I literally just go and take a bite out of them. Like I don't care.
You're a bad person.
They're food.
You're a
They are
bad person.
food.
Give me a presence and intimidation roll, and you can add your free bonus dice from having your herd. Almost like not letting her feed is going to be worse for me than letting her take what she wants.
No love. There's no art in it anymore.
Oh no, it's not. I'm just hungry.
Way down in your social skills.
Presence, intimidation, and then herd.
It won't let you select herd, so when you click on the D10 and ask for a modifier, put 3.
Oh, okay.
You and your ready supply of livestock.
Food? Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. 1. Maybe you've been a little bit too ravenous for a few nights in a row by this point, that like even though you want your fix when you get up in the evening, as soon as you see the condition of the humans that you have on hand to feed on,
They don't cut it.
they've maybe been drank on a little bit too frequently in the past few nights, that you have to be a little bit careful, or else you might end up killing one of them. So you only get 1 point of fete back.
Okay.
Awful, horrible
Oh, it's
person
fine. I'll just
owner.
pick something along the way. Don't worry about it.
Bad people owner. You don't take care of your humans.
They're food again. I
Okay,
don't
yeah,
care.
well now they're not,
Bring me a
so
bite to eat, I
yeah, how
spent
good are
days
they
here
now
yesterday.
when you
Whatever you grab
suck
on
them
the
all
way,
fucking dry
I
and
don't
you're
care
like,
if it's
oh, I'll just go.
McDonald's, I'll even settle
We
for a
go
burger.
get something on the way.
Yeah.
As they're like laying like bones and like barely skin hanging on, just like, please don't feed for me, I'm begging you. And you're like,
Mistress, please don't
up,
feed on
Big
me.
Mac. Alright.
Like
Awful.
the infectors literally have people within the Covenant whose job it is to get humans to give to elder vampires and other kindred as herd.
Fuck y'all people. I hate y'all. I have
People
to struggle
trafficking.
every day of my life to hunt down people to consume, and I'm very careful about it, and I'm very delicate. And then you're just like, I'm just gonna fucking whatever. More will show up when I get back.
Sometimes it's not even people trafficking. Like, I imagine like somewhere like Vampire
Human
Society
traffic?
in Los Angeles or whatever, like some of those elder kindreds have deep ties to the entertainment industry and go,
Oh,
you let us munch on you every now and again and we'll get you that next acting gig.
I hate
Harvey
that so much.
Weinstein, as is.
Yeah. Yep. That's
Call it that.
that-
Please don't call it Harvey Weinsteining.
that's
I'm begging you.
that's how those West Coast vampires do.
Like them West Coast vampires out here.
And that's just Hollywood producers, they're not even actual vampires.
That's just the normal living parasites.
Yeah, they're just regular people. They're just like, I'm just real hungry for your eternal youth.
Make you guys look like scrubs.
The urge to do an Alex Jones voice right now is almost undefeated.
But yeah, like your hair, they're running a little bit dry this evening. Yeah, maybe stopping into a nightclub or something on the way to the house to grab yourself something more substantial might be the best way to go.
That sounds like a good idea. Again,
Um,
food. I'm hungry, so.
Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, we'll get you fed before you get to the house. Okay, a little bit more difficult. You're not going to benefit from your hair this time.
Yeah.
And if you're going into a club, probably a less intimidating approach, maybe. Unless you just look at some dude and go, "You come here," in which case I'll let you add your dominate ranks to the to the role, because you can do that shit with dominate.
Yeah, let's just do that because I just want to be done with it. I'm hungry.
Then yeah, gonna be dominate 1, which is command. I think I've already your disciplines are already plugged in. So yeah, on page 2 of your character sheet, that first power command, if you just roll the little red D10 on there.
Any modifier? Nothing. Yeah.
No modifiers or anything like that.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, you're able to get an extra 2 points of Fite as you go to some nightclub, see the most blank face looking simp that can't take his eyes off you in the place, and just kind of look him in the eye and go, "Come here," and like the guy will just wander over like a zombie and let you feed on him for a little bit before it gets a little bit too obvious and you have to let him go before you breach the masquerade. Then extra 2 points puts you in a pretty good position. I think you're at 9 out of 11 vitae that you can hold. Derek, you can only hold up to 10 because you're only blood potency 1.
I should probably get more because I'm still only at 6. I'm gonna be hungry again tomorrow.
You're going to be hungry again. That's provided you don't need to spend vitae on anything else.
Yeah, I was just thinking, and I've probably got spells that I might have to use.
We're all at a Capri Suns.
And we are
a
on
Capri
Capri
Sun.
Sun! Fuck! Okay.
Like, Daenerys going to be spending at least like an hour or 2 before she even gets to the house hunting, so you guys might as well go see if there's any, homeless people or things kicking around in the north side that you can abduct and eat.
Finally, some true performance art. Protecting the homeless and eating them. Now I feel like a Hollywood elite.
I don't think either of you have a herd.
No, but I do have Hathor to aid with hacking.
You can,
I'm just really stealthy.
Stealthy is good. Especially if you're sneaking up on people and grabbing them from behind and feeding on them.
You find some people in the library to abduct. That would be the ideal place for me to abduct people.
Homeless people squatting in the library.
Homeless people squatting in the library.
The ideal choice.
Yeah.
May have some students at the university, but then you're getting a bit too close to Carthian territory to be hunting quite as openly as that. Okay. If you're gonna head out of the house, maybe towards some of the more built up areas, then I assume you're both fairly stealthy when you hunt.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of stealth, but I honestly mainly rely on Hith, probably. Like, find somebody that's weak. You know,
Angle them.
yeah, you can have whatever bits you want, buddy. What I want.
Half-Orc doesn't need to eat or drink.
But Hathor is also a demonic called a hellhound, so I imagine they probably just want to destroy stuff for the sheer fun of life.
Hellhound is just the word for it. They're Fete infused animals essentially, but because they sustain themselves on your blood, they don't need to.
Do it anyway, Hathor. Go find somebody.
Yeah.
If they're not weak enough, make them weak enough.
Yeah. In that case, you want Half-Orc to sort of like maul someone, so you can feed on them. That'll be
in the middle of the road.
They're gonna think he was a wolf or something. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, this horrible animal attack! It drank all their blood. How strange!"
Giant glowing animal.
Nobody's gonna see it.
not glowing.
I know, but it'd be funnier if the thumb was glowing.
It'll be a check Half-Orc's character sheet. Okay. Wits and survival roll. And for Adam, it'll be a dexterity and stealth roll.
Yeah, we're gaming now. Whatever. Okay. I fucking slip on a banana peel.
Like, you got one that means you found someone, and like, trying not to kill them, you're able to take 1 point of Fete from them. But you could be a vicious, horrible monster and just like
kill them, you say?
But it will be a humanity roll.
Oh yeah, fuck it. I got humanity to spare. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Now the drawbacks of having low humanity is it makes interacting with anything not a vampire more difficult. But you're a Nosferatu, so it's already.
I like never do anyways. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're really creepy looking." So you know what? That's it. I'm going. You've all pushed me into my Joker arc. I'm giving up my humanity.
Okay.
How does a humanity roll work?
So you're killing someone fairly in cold blood at this point.
Yeah.
You need to give me a simple roll up in the top of your sheet, which will just ask you for a dice pool. And for killing someone in cold blood, you're rolling 2 dice.
Okay.
So, since I'm looking for a frat boy, those aren't real people. I don't have to make.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do.
Okay.
You succeeded, which means you don't lose you don't lose humanity for it. It's actually the opposite. Like, if you'd lost humanity, you would have felt nothing. It would have been like a throwaway instance where like it didn't matter to you.
Because I'm a total psychopath, right?
But because you're managing to hold on to your humanity, then you might, after you're finished draining the homeless person of every ounce of blood that he's got, you might feel a little bit bad for it when you throw it in a dumpster.
Sorry, G.
Although you probably want to get rid of the body in another way because
throwing in a dumpster is going to be a good idea. Yeah.
Bodies found drained of blood tend to draw the wrong attention.
Yeah. Right.
Just set it on fire, then
yeah.
The blood.
Which is difficult if
Can
you're
I
a vampire.
throw it in the dumpster and then like fill it with gasoline and throw a match in? Like, can I do that and basically like cook the body?
Remember, handling fire as a vampire is
shit.
Even
yeah.
a match?
Even a match. How?
Very flammable. Very flammable.
I am very
Uh,
flammable, right?
a open flame the size of a match or a lighter will still trigger a potential frenzy. You only need one success not to, but it's still a risk.
I need
Things like being
success,
near an
right?
open bonfire, where it's like huge and flaming, you need like 5 to avoid frenzying, or if you're caught in a burning building.
Okay.
What happens if
So,
you
like-
frenzy in a burning building? Do you just freak out and possibly die?
You freak out, you try and find the quickest way out, and if you can't, then you'll try and go through the flames.
Jesus Christ. Are you are you extra flammable as a vampire?
You are as a maquette.
Oh boy.
And as
Nerd.
any other vampire,
She says hot nerd.
We can
as,
light you on fire as a funny break.
No.
as any other vampire, fire does aggravated damage.
This is still not fun. Okay.
Mm.
Alright, so how would I stash a body then? If I've drained it of blood? That's a great question. How far away are we from the house?
How far away? Probably not too far.
Just bring the body back and bury it in the backyard.
Bury it in the backyard. Yeah. That's
Give it an unmarked
doable.
grave. Alright.
Then it just like down the line, someone it becomes a serial killer house, ends up with all sorts of stories attached to it. Derek,
Great.
you're out hunting with Hathor, who will literally run down victims for you.
Yeah, I say, alright girl, we're looking for, I don't know, just a couple of frat guys. Somebody that nobody's really gonna miss too bad.
Okay.
People
So
absolutely miss frat guys, they're in a fraternity. Go looking for them.
They also, a lot of them also come from like wealthy
Money,
families. Yeah.
That's why it's morally correct for me to target them.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Eat the rich. You're right.
Eat the rich.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want to be a car fan? You sure you want to be a blood sorcerer?
Too late.
Can I ask, how much vitae did I get for sucking that body dry?
How many would have brought you to full?
What is full for 2 blood potency?
11.
Alright, 4.
Yeah,
So I get that. Or-
homeless person. 4. Yeah.
Yeah, we here sucking the homeless.
Okay, Derek. Hathor will go out and find you some suitable prey. They were literally like chase a guy into an alleyway, like baying for their blood, knowing that you're there waiting on the other end.
Yeah, I just
like
catch the guy and just push him up against a wall and immediately tear him.
yeah, like you've got him up against the wall, being a like a frat guy, probably physically stronger than you. But the fact that there is this, like, angry, frenzied, jackal-looking dog also up in his face, growling, threatening to bite his face off, like, the guy just pretty much freezes and you're able to take up to 4 points of vitae from the guy without killing him.
Hell yeah. I found a good target. And then I tell him, forget about this.
Which he probably won't because you don't have dominant.
That's fine.
You just given this man PTSD and you're like, don't remember.
Yeah, he's just going to be terrified of dogs now for the rest of his life.
I highly recommend you forget about this. This isn't Break the Masquerade, right?
The bite, once you kind of perform the kiss, like that feels good. What he probably will remember is, being chased into an alleyway by like scary ass dog, and then maybe bumping into a strange man who
just started making out with his neck.
Yeah.
stopped the dog from mauling the shit out of him.
What What a nice man. He stopped the doggo.
Yeah, and he kissed me. It was really cool of him.
Yep.
Now I have
The-
PTSD around dogs and confused sexual urges. What do
Yeah,
I do?
guy didn't know he was into guys before this point in time.
Hey, college experimentation. If I'm looking
So, hey, you're paying for something, alright? For parents.
But yeah, you're generally like homeless people tend not to be the healthiest of people to feed on. Like you're probably only looking at maybe 5 or 6 points of fete from a homeless person. Someone like a frat guy where they probably hit the gym quite often and stuff like that, like they've got a bit more to them. But you know, there's the risk with both of those type of people that you're going to feed on them. They're going to be loaded up with booze or drugs.
yeah.
Going to let you guys off with them not being loaded up in booze and drugs because I really can't be asked like dealing with the
The fallout of
you
that.
you guys having to make rolls to see if you resist getting like absolutely fucking tits. Because it just slows shit down unless you guys are specifically hunting for people who are drugged up.
I figured that there would be an easier target. I forgot about that mechanic. Honest with you.
Yep.
I just think it'd be fun to get shit faced, but
Let's go find the mausoleum, okay?
yeah.
Alright, where's the map?
It's like
Sideways, he just falls onto his face.
it's a stamina roll as well. So like,
Oh fuck! I'm so screwed. No, please, Andy.
I'm not rolling well on the stamina.
get out your tree, take those drugs, find those heroin junkies in the alleyways. The rules for that, you won't be doing anything for hours and
Oh Jesus Christ.
but yeah, you're all able to feed. You didn't kill anyone in the process. Daenerys, you didn't kill anyone in the process. By the time both of you get back to the house, Adam's probably already out in the backyard. You can probably hear the sound of dirt and gravel being shoveled up
Adam,
around the back of the house.
what did you do?
I don't know what you mean. As he tries to stand in front of the dead body laying on the ground. I don't know what you're talking about.
That guy's dead.
He's not dead. He's just sleeping for.
I mean,
Ever.
I'm not getting any aura from him. He's definitely fucking dead.
His aura's too strong for you to be able to sense. It's like so far beyond what you can sense.
But Thor says he's dead too.
Hathor can't talk. Hathor's a dog.
No, she's sniffing him. Look.
Mm-mm.
Thor only sniffs
No,
dead
she
people
isn't.
like that.
He's like trying to get the shovel and like the way the dog. Get away! Stop it! Look! Don't sniff a sleeping man where he lies. Isn't that the?
Hathor's
idiom?
looking for those fresh bones.
Yeah.
Listen, look. All right. You people do things different than me culturally. All right. It was all.
Nosferatu is your culture. Is that what I'm hearing?
Fucking okay,
I mean,
whatever.
yeah, you
fucking-
guys like usually take these guys and like make towers out of their bones, right? I've heard that before. Is that true?
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Build
Right,
towers of
large.
bones the size of people underground. That's what most Nosferatu do.
Are you gonna do that here? Because I don't think we can do that as a lawn ornament. We're gonna start asking questions.
Well, I was going to do it, but under the ground. Like 6 feet under the ground. And I was going to let the bones arrange themselves when the skin all decayed off and was eaten away by the maggots.
We should probably find somewhere that's not our house to bury them. Right?
Who's going to come looking for a homeless person? And here, of all places.
I mean, just, I don't know. Acid. We live in 2022. Haven't you seen Breaking Bad?
No.
You could literally just go to
What
the
is
store
that?
and buy those things.
Dude, do you think I have a fucking TV? Well, I do. I just wanted to see if you were racist. No, I haven't watched Breaking Bad, I must admit.
It's in like the first season. Yeah, they like melt this guy's body down.
Doesn't matter what season it is if I've never seen any of them.
Gotta watch it. But anyway, we're getting off track. Where's Danny?
That's a good. Well, I don't see them here as he kicks the dead body into the half-done hole.
Sitting on the front of the car laughing at the two of you, probably.
Alright, well, I'm gonna finish filling this grave with my new art piece. I mean, not grave. I mean, hole in the ground
Mm-hmm.
with my art, my culturally appropriate art, which I ask that you do not interfere with, please. Any other questions before I finish, so we can get on with our day or night? He will literally do that to them, and then he'll just beg them fill in the fucking hole with dirt.
Danny, are you driving?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go wash the old
Blood off.
hands. Yeah, be right back.
Is Adam going to even be considerate enough to wash the dirt off of him?
Yes, Adam will do that. Adam has an entire spare set of robes, actually, that he brings everywhere with him in a little bag underneath his original set of robes.
Nice.
That's the joy of priestly robes, that they're black, so you can't see the bloodstains or...
Yep. So he'll hang up the old ones to wash them later, and he'll put on an identical set of fucking big, like, heavy cloth robes. And he'll walk back on out. He'll be like...
Doesn't matter what set he's wearing though, Derek, you can always smell old blood off of the robes, probably.
Yeah, they're not clean. They're not clean. They're just cleaner than the last one.
I suppose it's a good thing we're going to a graveyard.
And he'll walk up the car and he'll be like, "Oh, you're driving. I'm gonna reserve my thoughts about that."
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Daenerys has a fancy car.
Cost of the car doesn't mean anything in relation to the ability of the driver, and he will
Didn't you walk
get it.
here?
Yeah, I did. Do you know what I don't have to deal with when I'm walking? Traffic.
Underground.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who has the good cardio out of this group?
I mean,
No-
if you
no
want to
one.
walk there, that's fine.
The dog.
Yeah, I pointed to Hathor. I was like, Hathor.
And the dog walks probably most places.
Burlington's about, like, maybe about 30, 40 miles away, like... I don't know if you're making that walk before the sun comes back up.
I didn't say I look. I didn't say I wanted to walk it. They just asked if I walk everywhere, and I said yes, I do, as if that was going to insult me somehow.
I open the back door of the car for Thor to jump in, and then I seatbelt her. Close the door.
Nice.
Well, Adam needs to sit in the back with a dog, is what we're...
Adam will sit in the back with the dog. Adam does not mind.
Yep. Yeah, or like up in the seat.
Well, he
Like-
knows how it goes, dude. He does that every time. Just like, oh, okay. Seatbelted.
Back window comes down a little bit so the muzzle can stick out.
I didn't ask. I just did it. You're gonna want her here. You're gonna want her here.
And yeah, once you're all seatbelted into the car, yeah, say about 40 miles. Car journey, not going to take you too long, maybe about half an hour. Less if you're, not doing the speed limit. But yeah, you drive into Berlin Facts. Fairly small town. It's like a smaller version of Lost Haven, and it's like surrounded by the national forest on most sides. It also sits on the coast. And like a lot of the architecture here is kind of like the old town in the city. Like it's like older, maybe like Civil War era American sort of architecture. There's a lot of houses with like your white picket fences and stuff. It's like your idealistic sort of small American coastal town. where probably a lot of families have lived there for generations after generation.
Old money.
Old money. You come through the cemetery. Here maybe sits. It would have probably been at the edge of the town at one point, but like the town's kind of grown out a little bit since then. But towards the sort of east side of the city, the town. Get there. Gates are open. Like small town, they never ever feel the need to sort of lock things up too securely. There's all these rows of gravestones. There's the occasional sort of willow tree planted here and there, overhanging over groups of graves. And towards the centre of the cemetery, which slowly goes up a small hill, you can see a number of mausoleums that probably belong to the older, wealthier families of the area, including the Rhodes family. Also on the cemetery, as you look towards the back of it, there is a house, a small house, that looks like it would have maybe been occupied by like a gravekeeper or groundskeeper for the cemetery at some point, but it looks like it hasn't been used in a very long time. But that's the only other thing of note really here, other than the mausoleums that are in the middle. As you'd maybe expect, the Rhodes Mausoleum is like at the top of the hill, in the middle of all the other ones. It's also the biggest, most elaborate one. There's like cherubs sort of carved into the stone. There's like the names of a lot of the original family members engraved around the top of it. And there is a large statue on the top of it. It's like a bust of a rather stern-faced, serious-looking man. That again, any of you that have been kindred in the city long enough actually will recognise as being Oliver Rhodes. As the sort of founding father and patriarch of the family when they originally came here. The mausoleums, unlike the main gate of the cemetery, are all shuttered and locked up fairly securely.
I suppose breaking it is not the ideal choice here, is it?
No,
Up to you guys.
I don't know if we should be breaking into a mausoleum. That seems a little disrespectful.
Oh, who cares about that? I mean, like, it'd probably be...
Yeah, sure. Or that one. Whatever. Fuck the dead.
Yeah. I mean, we're dead, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, fuck us.
technically.
People try to fuck us all the time. Not in the fun way.
Well, that's a very astute way of putting that. Thank you.
I was like, can any of the three of you actually like pick a lock and like out of the three of you, the one that I'm least expecting is actually the most capable of it.
It's Danny, isn't it? Yeah.
Danny's the only one with anything in larceny.
Yeah, Adam's not a fucking burglar, so.
I'm
Princess
basically-
isn't an angel.
I'm glorified Dog the Bounty Hunter, okay?
You should be able to pick a lock then.
You know,
Bounty hunter with dog.
yeah, Bounty Hunter with dog more than Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Okay, right.
All right.
Look at this, Danny.
Yeah. Let's see how this goes.
Oof.
So the combination for that, because it's always a combination of multiple things, would be dexterity and larceny. Vampires can also do the fancy little thing where you can spend a point of vitae to bump one of your free physical attributes by 2 for a single action.
Nice.
Yeah, she would give you 2 more dice. Or the other option is you can also spend willpower to give yourself 3 more dice for a single action as well.
That's
Smart
pretty
to get
neat.
back, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so dexterity, larceny. If you wanted to spend a point of blood, since you're at 10 at the minute,
Alright.
yeah, you could add an extra 2 to it.
Damn.
So bad. So unlucky. So unlucky.
Wow.
So yeah, you're all sort of around the mausoleum. Danny maybe like grabs the lock, maybe picks like a hairpin or something out of their meticulous hair, and starts to sort of try and pick the lock. And both of you are fairly sure that you can see this flush of energy as well as she does it. But there's no click. The lock doesn't loosen up. But luckily the hairpin doesn't break or anything like that inside the lock either. Which means you can try again. So this would be an extended roll, which means you can make multiple attempts at it until you get the right number of successes to succeed. But you're limited on the amount of times you can roll based off of your dice pool without any modifiers. So, like, Danny, for example, has dexterity 3 and larceny 1. So she could make up to 4 attempts to pick this lock before kind of getting fed up and frustrated with it and like giving up. So yeah, you can try rolling again.
Alright. Is the modifier only for the first time around?
Yeah, it was only for that initial one. Yeah, unless you want to spend another point of blood.
Oh, I don't. Always
Yeah,
hungry.
1. Yeah, you're making some headway with the lock. You can actually feel the mechanism inside starting to shift and adjust with the pressure that you're putting on the hairpin. But it's not quite enough yet to unlock it, so if you could just give me another roll. 3, yeah, there we go. Eventually, maybe another 5 minutes of quietly trying to get this lock picked. You can feel all the mechanisms starting to shift as you sort of force the hairpin a little bit deeper in, and eventually you feel the loop loosen, and you can take the padlock off the door.
Oh, we're in.
That seemed hard. Was that hard?
Just shut up and go in.
What a lovely answer. And he'll just walk in.
Yeah, you pull the gate of the mausoleum open. And yeah, Adam, you're the first one stepping in.
Yeah. That's
Is there
all.
any sort of light down there?
There's no light in here.
Nice.
There's lights in the cemeteries just sort of to highlight the road that sort of weaves through it. So there's a little bit of light coming in the initial doorway, but once you're fully in there, you're probably going to want light. It is 2020, so presumably some of you have smartphones, which we all know come with a torch built into them. So yeah, this day and age, most people have a torch in hand.
I was wondering, did any of you have like a flashlight or something?
I can see in the dark.
I wasn't asking for you,
Oh, you just
but
asked.
thank you.
Half hour.
Anybody else potentially have a flashlight or something that could be used as a flashlight?
Oh, just turn on my phone so I can get him to shut up.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. Was that so hard?
Yes.
So,
Man, even amongst our own kind, yours are just so uncanny. I don't.
What the fuck does that mean?
I just turn and start walking.
Okay. Well, thanks for that very cryptic, meaningless statement. I'll just follow on after him.
yeah. So there, you kind of move past Adam and take the lead down into the mausoleum. You don't need the light. You can catch some of the light from Danny's sort of phone passing kind of behind you overhead, giving the two of them some amount of light down here. The mausoleum itself is fairly large. It's the one of the oldest mausoleums in the town. So it's had generations of the family all interred here. And as you can imagine, like inset into all the walls are all these marble slabs, with like brass ornate nameplates, sort of screwed or pinned into each of them, indicating which family member is sort of buried or interred within each section. The oldest one here is Oliver Rhodes himself, which is that there's no one actually buried behind there, or at least there shouldn't be, because the guy was a vampire. So like, whatever's in there isn't him or isn't the body. There are a few others, and they go all the way from like maybe the 1700s up to very recent, like family members that were interred in the early 2000s. I'm going to ask you, you're the only one likely with Auspex to notice anything, to give me a wit and composure roll plus your Auspex.
Jesus God fucking almighty, how am I consistently rolling so bad?
Everyone's rolling like shit, I feel like. I don't think any of us have gotten like a really solid roll.
Homie, this is
Roll
like
20.
a weeks long thing.
Roll 20 just hates players, man.
Honestly, yeah.
I've been rolling poorly like every game.
Yeah. Yeah, you take a moment, you kind of let yourself take in the environment. You can't hear or smell or see anything out of place. The only noise that you're kind of getting while you're down here is probably the shuffling footsteps of your two fellow kindred and the soft paw movements of Hathor sort of pacing around the mausoleum. Now, Hathor has an advantage of having a good sense of smell as well. So if you could also give me a wits and composure roll for the dog.
Include.
No.
Another one, Susan.
Another one. Okay.
We're fucked. We're so fucked.
They, Hathor starts to sort of sniff around.
That
Cool.
scared the shit out of me. Why that scared the shit out of me.
Somebody else's screen and you were
Our
like,
shadow demon
Well,
just entered the chat.
like,
Holy shit.
Hathor sort of sniffs around the mausoleum. And like they might paw a few places, maybe the corners. within here, but like it doesn't take you too long to realize that, despite being fueled by vampiric vitae and stuff, some of the nature of the dog is still there, and you get the impression that what they're pawing at is there's maybe been a wild animal or something that managed to get into the mausoleum that's left a mark.
Is it Blood Girl?
As soon as she lifts a leg to sort of pee on the place, like, it's not. It's like animal smell, and she's trying to get rid of it.
You should probably do that outside. Okay. Well.
Oh. Oh god.
That just happened.
And then it's a big ass animal too. It's just gonna like
So
be
much
a disgusting smell.
Oh, dude.
I was like, oh, this.
My wolf's pees are so caustic. I swear to God, if my wolf peed on like the same iron like fence every day in the same spot, I bet it would melt through it.
Like, you imagine that like, the stone is like just like melting away, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I can see that from here." All right, well, that doesn't seem like a reaction to blood. I don't think.
No, I would certainly say no. Anybody else
What
get
are you
heebie-jeebies though? Something I can't put my finger on. I don't like this.
It might just.
You don't
be
like
me.
a lot of places, though.
It might just be me. I do that to people.
So you do get what I was getting at.
Yeah, you're just a dickhead, so I'm not gonna agree with you. Yeah, after the fact, not when we're having the conversation.
Can you move this guy's thing? There's no way I can. Just if there's going to be a secret thing in here, it's probably going to be behind the guy's thing.
All right, you're so frail, and he'll just like shamble over to it.
Are you really any stronger?
No, probably
For
not.
all
No.
I know, he definitely is. Yeah, he's a Nosferatu, so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, they gotta be strong to, like, gank people and stuff. Yeah, sure.
I was trying, but like,
Best person for this as well is not either.
I know, right? Like, okay. What would I have to roll?
It would be a strength and athletics roll.
Damn, that thing I don't have. All right, let's chill. I'm gonna pop a Vitae then.
Okay, get +2 in there.
Stretch. Thank you.
Let's see.
Stretch.
Strength and athletics. I'm gonna add +2
Ooh.
to that.
Or my elbow pop.
Yeah, my shoulder just popped. That was fun.
Tough. It happens.
Okay, yep. So, Seth has been asked if you could move the marble sort of capping sort of stone
Yes.
at the end of the thing.
Right.
You try and get a grip of it either side, and you start kind of pulling, but your fingers just sort of slip. You can't quite get the right grip, and you can't leverage the weight well enough to sort of even make it move in the slightest.
He like looks at his hands. He's like,
So
This isn't-
useless.
"All right, well, it took you 5 minutes to pick a lock. All right, so
And you couldn't even do that.
I didn't have to pick the lock. You volunteered.
Yeah, because you didn't know how to. It's okay.
You don't know
Go
that. You're just
Go
assuming that.
over.
Well, come
Go
on,
over.
come move the stone. You're gonna dominate the zone to move?
It's strength and athletics, right? Okay.
Watch her get like 5, 6.
She'll probably get like all the successes.
Okay, 1.
Can we ever roll good ever? Are we gonna move? Are we gonna progress the story at all? Like,
The pace is a snail's pace.
the rest of
Yeah.
the day is like,
Daenerys, you get a grip around the edges of this sort of capping stone. Unlike Adam, it does give way a little bit. You kind of loosen it off, but not quite enough to pull it in one go.
I can try again.
You can try again.
Alright.
Another one. So like the two of you, like Adam, Seth, you can slowly see Daenerys shuffling this capstone out of the hole in the wall gradually. It's still not quite enough to pull it the whole way out.
Marble is very heavy. That's what they say. They say it's like the heaviest of rock.
I think I got only one try at it, so I could be mocked when she inevitably moves it an hour from now.
You can
Well,
you can
you
try.
wanna try
You can
again?
try.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
please, you're so invested in your crusade to make me look like a fool. I wouldn't want to take that away from you.
If my
I don't
pepper
have to
had
do anything to make you look like a fool.
If Halfar had opposable for you,
opposable.
dog is swimming in strength and athletics, but can't use it to pull a stone out of the wall.
Yeah.
We move it a little bit more, and he can go ahead and just pounce and like just knock it over. That'll be great.
Yeah, set it up for him so he can knock it down. I'm all the credit.
All right, let's try this one more time. Let's see.
We gotta get something good for once. There's gotta be a roll here. Oh, that might be it.
We're on active.
Yeah. Once you've kind of shuffled it out a little bit, it's easier to get a better grip on it, and then you can kind of just pull it out, and set it aside against the sort of wall. The amount of dust and sort of damp smell that sort of comes out once it's off is disgusting for all of you, but with the enhanced senses, Derek, it's like really distracting for a moment.
Ew.
Nothing pounces out at you or anything like that. But Derek, with your enhanced senses, your ability to see in the dark, you don't even need to reach in to see that there is a bundle tied up in a cloth inside the sort of internment hole.
Just kind of chin and pull it out.
Okay. It's a bundle maybe about the size of a football.
American football or soccer ball?
Is there much of a size difference?
Yes.
Mostly the shape difference.
Mostly the shape difference,
Yeah. About the same width as an American football.
Yeah, Adam wants to undo the bundle then. Just like see what's inside.
Yeah, I'll like hold it so you can do that.
Yeah, don't give me a second. Let me get this tie off.
Okay. Start untying the bundle. And as it sort of falls open, there are a few items sort of lying in amongst it. There is a cell phone. It's a little bit dated by this point.
Like a Nokia or like a Razor?
Early smartphone, probably.
Like a full. Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's also a ring in here. That Daenerys you'll recognize as being a inner circle ring of the Invictus. Lost Haven's Invictus, not London. And that there is a bundle of money in here as well.
Kind of money.
Quite a substantial amount, maybe a few $1,000s.
I don't know about any of you, but this doesn't quite seem to be what I would have expected to be hiding in a mausoleum.
Bug out back.
Bar the ring.
Yeah,
The ring
they're-
seems kind of in place.
The fourth item in here is a wooden stake.
So
No, it doesn't look like it's been used at all.
Adam would like to take the wooden stake. Adam has a use for a wooden stake, very particularly, actually. So
I'll take the phone. Probably best.
Take the ring.
Ash, I guess we'll just
we
take with us
leave
in
the
case we
money
need-
behind. We just
No.
leave it behind. I was like, all right, well, yeah.
Leave a
I mean,
dollar.
I feel like.
Leave $1.
Good idea. In memory. All right. Well, there's got to be something else in here. I mean, they couldn't have sent us here for a smartphone, a ring, a wooden stake, and $2,000 in cash.
I mean, I imagine. It's probably all. Oh, right.
It never feels that easy, though, does it? There must be something else, right?
Is it charged?
No.
I'm
It's
ready to
been in
search
there.
this.
It's been in there for a while,
Yeah.
a few years at least.
I might actually need to go buy like a Verizon or something. I definitely this type of charger.
Yeah, not a USB-C cable
Or the iPhone one or whatever.
or an iPhone one. Yeah.
Well, this would still behoove us to at least check the rest of the mausoleum. There could be something we're missing. Never hurts.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that.
So no body in
Okay.
here, right?
No body in Rhodes is.
Adam's gonna start kind of feeling along the wall, like heading one way.
If you're having a look for anything in here, it'd be a wits and investigation roll.
Alright.
No adding all specs.
You can add aspects.
Suppose it's a proportionally low roll.
Okay.
Or
Let's go.
Deployment
Actually, like a
safer.
collection of successes for once.
You don't need to spend Fete for that.
oh yay.
Okay. So, yeah, Adam, you start kind of searching around the walls. It's obviously it's dark in here. You don't have the benefit of supernatural eyesight or hearing or anything like that. Point where like the only thing that really stands out is noticeable to you is that a few of the burial sort of slots look like they've been taken, like the nameplates and stuff on them look like they've been polished and cleaned, and they're not quite as covered in dust as most of them are. There's maybe about 4 of them that are like that, including Oliver Rhodes's.
It's recently 10.
I was going to say, seems like someone's been here relatively recently to touch the place up. Suppose that would make sense why we're here. Someone must have known something. But what?
The names that are there include the Dorothy Rhodes, Philip Rhodes, and a Daniel Rhodes.
Maybe we should write those ones down. These particularly cleaned off placards could be useful in the future.
Um,
Busy you.
yeah, Derek, as you're sort of
Hand me the light then.
as you're searching, it's maybe when Adam sort of points out that some of them have been better tended to than others. You start to kind of focus your attention in on those. And to your surprise, all of the ones that have been cleaned and well taken care of all have a cherub engraved near that. When you apply pressure to one of them, it opens the corresponding sort of alcove. And you probably realize that there's probably one of these. Yep. But yeah, Daenerys just brute forced it for the three of you. And the first two of these that you open them. The alcoves are empty. There are similar bundles inside, with money, a means of communication, a stake. Yeah, like what you initially said about Oliver's, these are like bug out bags. Like, it very much you get that impression that what's in here is like in case of emergency, come back to where you were buried, grab the shit that's in here and get yourself out of the city. Clearly, Oliver Rhodes didn't get the opportunity to do that with his. And presumably these ones belong to Childer of Oliver Rhodes, who either haven't had the opportunity or haven't felt the need to. Until you get to the third one, you get to the alcove for Daniel Rhodes, and can I get that wits and composure roll again with your aspect applied?
I will spend.
Fate doesn't apply enough because it's not a physical trait.
Shit. Got it.
Okay. You stop for a moment before you open the alcove. It's almost like you sense something on the other side. Something maybe moving, but barely.
What?
Like, the alcove space isn't very big. Like, if you were a body and you were interred into one of these spaces, there wouldn't be much room to move around. It'd be a very claustrophobic experience.
Thor. Here,
Now,
girl.
half orc will come to your side. You see them looking up at the alcove. You can hear the low growl, and you can all see her starting to kind of bare her teeth.
Guys, what do we do?
Well, we open it, of course. This is the reaction we were looking for. This is the thing that was specifically hidden from us originally, right?
Maybe. Uh, I'm gonna grab it, throw it out.
You you open it, and the nameplate, marble nameplate area sort of swings open. I think we'll take a break.
Oh, Andy! Andy! I knew it was coming, and I still got fucking got. All right, don't go anywhere, anybody. We're gonna take a quick 5 to 10. We'll be right back with more Lost Haven by Night. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks. Thank you all so much for your patience in waiting. I just pulled something out of the wall that I probably shouldn't have. Andy, what's going on? What have I done?
Yeah.
Andy, what have I done, Andy?
You reach in. You grab what feels like it's an ankle belonging to something. It actually feels fairly frail in your grip. As you pull out a person, like, once you kind of pull them out of the alcove, it doesn't trigger your inner beast for any of you. But you can all kind of tell by how old and, like, skin is almost paper thin. There's very little muscle mass left on this person. The fact that they're still alive at all, and they are alive, you can see the shallow breath. Like, when you pull them out and they sort of hit the ground, they just sort of sit there almost in a daze. You can see the light breaths in and out through the thin skin and bone. It doesn't. Not quite.
That level of decomposition.
Not quite there yet, but like maybe a safe assumption that this person is a ghoul who hasn't been fed in a long time. Yeah, you could roll a cult.
I'm also going to do that thing.
Would that be intelligence occult or wits occult?
Yeah, intelligence and occult.
Intelligence occult, and that's it, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Because Kruak wouldn't give me benefits.
No.
Never did.
Okay. Yeah, one Adam.
Never lucky.
Safe assumption for you. Person's probably a ghoul. But you can't quite be 100%. Seth, you're pretty sure the person's a ghoul. You have methods that you can give you maybe a little bit more information. You could probably read the guy's aura in a moment to kind of get a bit more about him. The level of aging would suggest that the person's probably a ghoul for a very, very long time. Like, the body that's here on the floor, barely breathing, is maybe that of like a 100-year-old man.
So they're fully ghoulified. It's the only reason.
And they've been rapidly aging since they stopped being fed.
There's a lot to take in. Okay.
On top of that, someone's clearly stuffed them into a mausoleum, hoping no one would find.
Yeah,
So their body will slam against the floor and be like, "Oh my god!" Is it?
Sorry, I mean you could go off there.
No, you're good.
Yep. Aura perception is what?
And empathy.
What's empathy and aspects? Yeah.
Ow.
Or it's intelligence actually, but it doesn't matter. Or actually, what's the better roll for you?
Intelligence would have been better.
Yeah, give me
One more D10.
Yeah, one more D10.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, the first thing that sort of hits you about this person's aura is it is orange, which you've come to learn is the colour for fear. And that there's that sort of. You've seen it in the vampire that came to visit you. It's here in this school as well, sort of brown tones of bitterness. Yeah.
I'm gonna cut my hand.
How many points of Vita are you giving him?
God damn. So
Okay. When you give him the first sort of drop, like the wound first touches the lips. All of you can see the sort of life sort of perk back. He doesn't start to de-age or anything like that, but like his eyes start to kind of focus, and then he very kind of hungrily sort of grabs your wrist and starts to kind of drink a little bit deeper from you. You almost have to kind of push him off to get him to stop drinking, but like with the frail state that he's in at the moment, it's very easy for you to just kind of push him back up against the wall and pull your hand away.
say, calm down, we can get you more. We're friends. Right? We're not here to hurt you. I like look at my homies, like, you know, right?
Yes.
We're not...
No, we're just looking for answers to questions.
Answers sort of has a kind of focus his vision. Like the only light in here is coming from Danny's phone, so you can see his eyes keep darting towards where the light is. Are you friends of my masters?
Well,
Danny, you're like good with social shit, right? Out of character.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you could like suss out information without giving too much away? Because we don't know who his masters are, right?
I was gonna say I have persuasion also, so I could attempt to persuade him into giving us information.
Yeah.
She might have
There's
some,
also
like, disciplines or some shit.
there's also subterfuge, which is like, you know, lying and shit.
I do have that one too.
Hard intimidation if you just want to fucking scare the living shit out of them.
Oh, I got intimidation.
Danny does have dominate, a lot of dominant. That ranges from, you know, one word commands to what's the second level of dominate even do? Oh, yeah, I remember. Mesmerize, where you kind of like entrance them and you can give them slightly more complicated commands to do or get them to do shit for you. And then the third one is you can like completely wipe people's memories.
That's good to know.
I think it's my 5th level.
You've also got a secret discipline that you probably don't want to tell anybody else in the court, especially the Nosferatu about it in the court.
I don't like sharing with them anyway, so we're good.
So yeah, you could very easily just like mesmerize the guy and get him to tell you everything, or you could do it the more, you know, mundane way of like persuasion or subterfuge roles to kind of try and slowly lure information out of him.
Can I just scare the shit out of them?
Just intimidate him.
Intimidate, dominance, whatever. Just
Oh yeah,
I
you
just want
want
answers.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a mesmerize roll. So like the power lasts for
Holy
as long as it
shit, there it
takes
is.
the subject.
Holy
That
the,
that
fuck.
the
is
only
a
good roll we've gotten, thank God.
that's an exceptional success.
You succeeded on every single one.
And got a 10 or 10 again, whatever it's called.
A 10 again? Yeah. Holy fuck. Let's go.
So yeah, with an exceptional success on a mesmerizer roll, the
Good job, Jen.
victim not only obeys but completely rationalizes the situation to make it feel like it's their decision to start doing what it is that you tell them to do.
Perfect. Fuck yeah.
Finally good news for once.
So yeah, the guy's already kind of looking towards you with the light. Doesn't take much for you to sort of lock eyes with him, and then you can very just like tell him whatever. Like, yep, we know your master. Tell us everything that happened to you that led you to being put here, or whatever it is you're wanting to get out of the guy. And yeah, you Adam and Seth, you kind of see the glazed over expression on the ghoul's face for a moment. Oh, of course, mistress. The master has spoken so fondly of you. He disappeared. What day is it? What month is it? If any of you give him the date, like especially if you tell him it's 2022, he seems a little bit panicked and frustrated. He looks at his own hands.
You realize that he's old as shit. It's like,
Oh,
I'm old. They turn to ash.
young Master Daniel. He said the master was gone and that people would be looking for information. He took me down here, and the next thing I remember, I was in the dark.
Pardon my.
I served Master Rhodes loyally for over a century by this point.
You're gonna say.
Yes. Did the young master give any indication of what his plan was to avoid these people looking for information? Yeah, I could only imagine that might give us clues as to why you were locked in the tomb.
Yeah, he said that there'd be powerful people looking for all the information that they could on Master Rhodes and all of his associations and resources within the domain. That Master Daniel said him and his siblings they would be going into hiding, and that they couldn't find anything that would lead them to them or Master Rhodes's list of resources and partners and then I was in the dark.
It would be reasonable to assume then that you were almost stashed away because you had information to provide. I think I'm starting to kind of piece it together a little bit. It was like a safeguard. When, if you'd be so kind, did this happen? How long ago? You seemed perturbed when we told you today's date.
This would be I think 4-5 years maybe.
quite a long time to be locked away in the darkness.
I don't know. I could have went with them. I could have served them. I wouldn't have betrayed. I
Well,
know I can no longer.
follow
I
me
used
on
to-
this if you will. I have an idea that might make a little bit more sense onto how you play into their puzzle. Now, yes, there were powerful people looking for information, but don't you presume that the cause that the young master and the young master's master were inevitably pursuing might garner followers one day? So you were left kind of like a piece to a puzzle, where you could direct individuals attempting to follow along in a similar path, roughly in a direction, so that they didn't go away forever. It just made it so that the wrong people couldn't find them, but the right people could get the right information to find them. Does that make sense?
You can see like the glazed, confused look. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the amount of time that has passed.
Of course. Yeah.
Where did your
Let
master
me.
go?
That's what I was essentially going to ask. Yes.
I'm just gonna keep it really simple for you. I'm having a hard time with me.
Yeah.
The three of you are well-renowned members of kindred society. If you're friends of Master Rhodes, that is, I assume that is okay.
Of course.
Yes, indeed.
Utmost of esteem.
And you know the connection between one such as yourself and their goals. We become devoutly loyal to those that we serve, but I felt that loyalty disconnect and fade for Master Rhodes while I was in there.
So easy.
I believe so.
In that case, in the spirit of hunting for more answers, do you have any idea of, before you were locked away, where they intended on going?
The Rhodes family have they had business interests so all throughout the East Coast, and even north into Canada.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, obviously we're gonna have some new clothes.
Oh yeah, the clothes that he's wearing are practically like rotting off the.
Yes.
Our new attendant. Of it. I just kind of like look to the two of you like, we are taking. I'm giving you the kid with like a puppy, like, we are taking.
Yes, I think it would be in our best interest to make sure that he doesn't fall into dangerous hands. I guess I should say you and me. I don't think she has any concern with who we bring to that house. She'll never be staying in it. And he'll motion her and he'll go like,
I'll pay
I'm
for the
catching
dry
on.
cleaning for the bar. I just hand like a couple stacks of money that I'm just like
she
pressing
needs
every
that
chair.
shit.
I'm pressing every cherub and taking all of the money out of here.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, then
I'm just-
Adam's gonna take every wooden stake. He's gonna take
Like-
every wooden stake presented, and he will put them within his cloak.
I figure Nosferatu probably needs some cat.
I don't know
I
what I
look
would
to
spend
Danny
it
and I'm
on,
like,
frankly.
Don't.
you're probably fine.
Mhm.
I don't even know. I've never seen this much money and cash in my life. I don't even know what I would do with this.
I'll spend it all.
I don't know how the hell I could. I can't even think of
Strip
a
club?
place to spend a portion. A what?
The the old girl very unsteadily gets to his feet. Yes, new clothes I think would be appreciated. This this haven of yours, I imagine it will be a grand estate for me to tend to on your behalf.
Have you ever seen Doctor Who?
I I do not. Of Master Rhodes didn't ever require a physician, um,
I
due to his
Let me.
nature.
Let me give a description of the matter. This is kind of a joint collective. We've taken an old piece of historical land and we're looking to renovate it into something a little bit more befitting of our status. So it will actually be you that we look to assist us in really helping us define a good combined grandeur for such a
I'm
building
just like in
as
the
it is.
background pointing at.
It,
Yep.
we did just freshly renovate the building, so it's a little bare bones right now, but I'm sure somebody who works with such close ties as the Rhodes estate would be able to put a little bit of their charm on it for us.
Some Master Rhodes would usually have me deal with contractors for uh, doing work on some of his holdings.
Oh, familiar with handling contractor negotiations. I do like to hear that.
Right up your alley.
Yes, indeed. Right there.
Got enough money to renovate the place now.
Not that we didn't have the money before.
Of course, not that we didn't have the money before, right? Just
More of an allocation of funds problem,
yeah.
you know?
We didn't have to liquidate some assets, move some stocks out of some funds and some.
You know, all the financial tomfoolery that goes along with being immeasurably wealthy.
Of course, of course. Let's get the gold back to the.
Yes, phenomenal idea. Let's go. And he'll start trying to find the staircase because I would imagine that portion of the room is still kind of dark.
Yeah.
God damn, where the fuck is it?
The girl, maybe moves a little easier than like an 100-year-old would, but not by much. Your blood kind of pulsing through is kind of helping him a bit.
Gotta do it 3 times, right?
You have to do it 3 times to make him bound to you. So this is the first.
Adam, you need to do it too. I'll whisper that to you, like, to where just you can hear it, like, are you 3 times?
He'll like whisper and he's like, I was planning on feeding him when he got back as a job well done kind of truth, you know.
Smart. Like a dog.
We have to tempo the shot until he has a Pavlovian response to feeding off of us.
I hope he doesn't start salivating.
Or even worse, ringing a dinner bell.
He
We'll have
starts
fucked up
ringing
the
his own
experiment.
bell.
Yeah, then we'll fuck up our own experiment.
Rings the bell. Come and feed me, master.
Yeah, and then we'll have the Pavlovian response to feeding you.
I know you're at
Like
10, you fucker.
Yeah. You feed me at 10:35 on the dot every day.
But yeah, he'll follow you back to the car. Could all of you give me wits and composure rolls?
Of course, settle nothing more.
What?
Not even as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
So, all of you get the very uncomfortable feeling as you're sort of leaving the cemetery that something or someone is watching you. Danny, you can't quite tell where it's coming from. Adam, you get the feeling that it isn't from within the cemetery, but you can't quite tell where in the surrounding streets of Burlingfax someone would be watching you from. Like, by this point, it's maybe about 10:30, 11 p.m. at night. In a small town like this, the streets aren't particularly busy with people even looking up at some of the houses and stuff around here. By this point, in the middle of the weeknight, most of the lights and stuff are all out for people to like sleep for work the next day and things. And nothing stands out as obvious to you. Steph, you also get that feeling that whatever's watching you isn't from the cemetery. And as you sort of take in this quaint old money style town, you keep looking, your eyes keep getting drawn to maybe the biggest looking house near the cemetery that kind of resides on a hill, making it that little bit higher up and having a better look over the surrounding town than any of the other houses.
I can be the only one that feels that, right?
We'll
Just mentioning it.
get in the car. Lock you up. Just watching us, you know.
I do appreciate your wishful thinking, but while we shall remain cool, take note of it. I feel like we'll be feeling this often. Does anyone? He'll be like walking, attempting to like nonchalantly pass this off as just like regular conversation. Like, does anyone have a position transfixed on where that might be coming from? Because I can't figure it out.
I will, as subtly as I can, convey it.
Right. Okay.
As you're subtly conveying it, the old ghoul,
Burst into flames.
that was the master's old home.
Oh. I could only be led to assume that the master's old home is under new management then.
What?
That's something to keep in mind. I feel like that should be brought up at our next meeting.
Why did your old masters run? By the way.
They said that there were powerful kindred that would have been looking to remove any of the old master's lineage from the domain.
I see. Alright then. I suppose we should be off now. I feel we might have overstayed our welcome.
Yeah, I think so.
Get back in the car.
Take us back to the haven, Danny.
Yeah.
The old man squeezed in the back. between Hathor and Adam.
Alright, it's a little cramped back here.
Just feel pointy bones digging into you every now and again in the car. It's just
It's like sitting in a rose bush.
yeah. You eventually end up back at the house. The old man's initial response is, "It's such a modest estate."
Well, as you might imagine, low profile is kind of the name of the game for the moment. Traction is very necessary. The hearts and minds are important to win. So modesty wins over those of a lower cultural status.
Since you've
Master,
been locked up, austerity and minimism has really made a big comeback.
Indeed.
Yeah.
it'll be like being back in the Depression era all over again.
Yes, exactly. Just like the Depression era.
And we've had a good president that made sure that those that had money didn't suffer during this austere time.
I'm a hoover.
Adam has a hand over his eyes, just like, yep, no, that was a good man that one was. Do you remember that president dearly? How I miss him so.
Good old Hoover.
Yes. Seth, could you do me a favor, please? And show our new attendant kind of around the home. I just need to speak with Miss Danny about something. Just briefly, I'll be in just a moment.
Yeah, come on, Hathor. Let's show our new. Pull his.
Old man, like the butler from like Tomb Raider,
Creepily, just like shambling into the house.
rattling the whole way towards the door.
Right.
Can almost hear the bones.
I love that he thinks we're powerful and shit.
Probably savvy enough to know that you're bullshitting, but like,
Yeah, but like he's playing along.
so it's mostly Danny that he believes is a friend of Oliver Rhodes. Like,
She's the one that dominated him.
she's the one that dominated them.
Right, exactly.
And out of the three of you, she probably looks like she's the one that's loaded.
True.
So Adam, standing outside the car would just be like, I know our relationship isn't really predicated on anything meaningful, but please do be careful on your way back to wherever you live. This is very serious. Gravely so. I understand you come from wealth and status, but we do live in a world where all the wealth and the status in the world will not save you from very certain people. So, please just be cautious. We do need you alive.
I didn't know you cared.
It would be noted that his stare is hollow and almost like he's looking through her constantly, like that really creepy, like Nosferatu, like inhuman stare.
The Ted Bundy
And I'd
eyes.
be like, exactly, very serial killer look, and he's like, well, it's in my best interest to care. And then he'll just kind of close the door, give a wave, and start to walk off.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I want to go find food again.
Damn. Your greed is insatiable.
Which has a large appetite.
Makes sense. Adam doesn't have a large appetite. He probably eats like fucking twice a week.
Too difficult.
It's just like he spends too much time reading books to think about eating.
Okay. Then yeah, Adam, you eventually follow Seth to the house. While they're Showing the go around?
Yeah, I'm definitely telling him, like, so in this room, I'm thinking that.
Excellent.
Oh shit! We just got a raid of 28 from Play Nerd Allies. I'm so sorry, my alert is very
cool.
quiet. It made the thing on the screen, but I didn't see it. Welcome in, everybody.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
days.
Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in. So much love, so much appreciation.
That's a huge raid.
I know,
Huge
right?
raid. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So much. Yeah, I'm
Um,
showing the ghoul, like, this is kind of what I envisioned this room to be like. This is going to be our library. This is going to be our formal dining room. This is going to be our breakfast nook. You'll be making, like, having this prepared for us at this time, and everything that I expect a fancy ghoul would expect it to say, just to keep this charade going for as long as possible.
He'll walk over and he'll be like, "Well, as exhilarating as this is, I do believe we can discuss home planning another time. You have had a rather long day, and you've been exceptionally compliant with us, which is all we can truly ask for. So, and I'll be like, if you are hungry, I would be more than happy to offer up some of my own blood to feed you as a reward, you know."
He sort of looks at you. You can almost see the eyes lighting up at the idea of more blood. Can I get a wits and empathy roll from the two of you?
God, if only I had empathy.
All specs or no?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, this is a really good thing to take at the beginning." Now I'm like abusing it, and he's like, "Why did I tell him?" It's okay. I'm still rolling not great, like, all the time.
Yep.
It
That's
balances
alright.
out.
Honestly,
Roll 20
mine
balances
turned out way
everything.
better than I thought it was going to turn out.
Okay. Both of you. Not surprising that a ghoul who hasn't been fed in a while seems to be quite excited at the idea of more blood. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, Adam will pull out his arm from under his robe, and will make an incision in his palm, and I'm gonna give 3 vitae to this individual,
Okay.
putting me back down to 7.
He can't quite hold as much as that.
Oh, thank God! All right,
But he'll take 2.
that's good enough for me. I
That'll
just
bring
wanted to
him
be
up to full.
generous, you know.
Like, at his drinking though, like, you feel like he would have taken more, but then the blood starts to sort of pool around his mouth as he can't physically hold.
Ew, gross. He's literally just, like, full of blood. Like, if you've ever drank too much water,
Like, you can both see the complexion starting to kind of redden, and a bit more life flushed into these old 100-year-old thin layers of skin and bone.
still
This
looks
is this
delicious,
guy's.
right?
Yeah. Once he started to age, there's no reversing that. Yeah.
All right, I think you've drank as much as you're going to be able to physically handle.
He sort of wipes his mouth, apologizes quite formally and politely.
I'm sure we all would be very ravenous if we were locked in a stone tomb for 5 years.
I'll start adjusting the estate for the two of you this evening. If you need any assistance with anything, I'll be on call.
That's much appreciated. Well, Seth, do you have anything particularly in mind with the rest of the evening? Or...
Could grab a bite. You?
Sounds like a good idea.
Alright. Don't go too far, old man.
Rattling going up the stairs. Now, Danny, you're driving back into the city properly. Probably going to swing into another bar or a club to feed. You're only really short. Like the max you can hold is 11. You're only 2 short of that. I'm gonna hand wave it and say you can fill up to max. But as you're sort of surfing a few bars and clubs, I'm gonna ask for another wits and composure roll from you.
Composure. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. Nothing.
Never lucky.
Good. As like you've just you're maybe dabbing the blood off the corners of your lips after you find your last idiot to sort of take a sip from for the evening. You're heading back to the car. Like, use the button to unlock the door, you climb in, you're getting your seatbelt on. And you notice a little bit too late as another figure climbs into the passenger side next to you. As you sort of kind of look up after adjusting your seatbelt, like as you're kind of clipping it in, you can see the sort of pale white hand kind of on the edge of the seat, and the very fine fabric of a pristine white suit sort of leading up from it. And then as you look up, you come face to face with a woman, a very fine featured woman who sort of, even though you're a member of the Invictus, and you don't even recognise her, she has a sense of superiority to her. Can you give me a resolve and composure roll to resist a frenzy?
Composure. Okay.
I was literally just thinking, oh, you know, we didn't resolve what happened from that spell.
You can feel your inner beast react out of fear as it looks into the face of this woman. But you manage to keep it. You're a Fentry. Like, you need to keep yourself composed at all time, and you manage to kind of squish that instinct to just like get out of the car and run. And you manage to like meet this woman's gaze. Her lips slightly curl up into a smile. Why don't you just start the engine and we can take a drive around town and talk?
All right. So, starting my car. What is this woman going to tell me? That is what I'm really curious about. I think she's pretty.
You,
The whole danger thing, right? We just don't listen to our compatriots when they say, please fucking be careful. We just drive around with strange, dapper women. Is that what we do now?
yeah. As long as they're, attractive, it's okay.
Oh,
She,
we're just shallow now, okay.
vampires.
Were we
I
shallow?
was about to say we're vampires.
You're like the only
human
clan that
things we
isn't
have
shallow.
left.
Yeah, she she sort of waits for a while once you've kind of driven maybe away from the city centre a little bit. To some of the quieter, maybe more residential streets where there's less likely to be people. She eventually sort of addresses why she's here. You and some friends, companions, lackeys, I don't know what they are to you. One would hope that they are, underlings of a sort. Paid a visit to a particular mausoleum this evening.
Yes. Yes, we did. Is there a reason that this is being brought up?
I couldn't help but notice that you liberated a piece of property from the mausoleum.
Are you referring to the little ghoul?
That would be the piece of property that I'm referring to. My sire's long-suffering ghoul.
Is your sire around at all for us to have a conversation with?
My sire has been dead for a few years by this point. I thought my sibling had got rid of said property. It seems he lied to me at some point.
Siblings tend to do that. Is there any reason that you're interested in this property?
The old man has knowledge of how to access certain places that have useful information as well as resources in them.
What sort of information?
Matter of inheritance that as one of the finest kindred that one could be, a Fentra, and of the First Estate, I suspect that you understand how important that is for the likes of me and you.
It sounds very, very important.
What led you and your underlings to even investigate the mausoleum?
We wanted to do some Scooby-Doo stuff. It's not anything important.
She looks you right in the eye for a moment and smiles, but there's a danger to that smile. Can you give me a resolve and blood potency roll? Don't know if it will let you select. Oh, it does let you select blood potency. That's good. Okay. So yeah, if you just click the word blood potency, it should select it for you.
So, okay.
That's what we're looking for.
Give me a second to do some sneaky GM rolling.
Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you have gotten,
I'm going to die.
why couldn't you have got another crazy clutch ultra success with like all 10 agains, please?
Well, because you two are useless, though.
Yeah, because we went off alone to a club.
And we found the ghoul.
I was hungry, okay?
So were we. We're hunting like basically
Okay.
together.
So your one success prevents this from being a dramatic success in favor of the NPC at least.
Ooh, yay.
Let's go. I'm feeling it.
But
Yay.
she pretty much locks eyes with you,
Hmm.
and like you're a Fentra, you're not stupid, you know what this is. And she just sort of says the words, "Tell me the truth." And the words sort of echo through your brain, and you can't help but feel obligated to do as she tells you. Like, your sire has maybe used Dominate on you as a teaching moment in the past to sort of teach you what you can do with it. But this is the first time another kindred has properly used Dominate on you outside of a teaching moment. And it doesn't feel comfortable, but you can't help but do what she's asking you to.
Alright. Well, I guess it's better than dying at the moment. So, we were, so I was brought into this, situation where someone that I do not know, he wore a mask the whole time, decided that he wanted to take charge and needed some help, and gave us a list of things. Gave me a list of things to go ahead and worry about. And one of them was to go ahead and investigate the mausoleum. And that's what I did. So, I mean, it's very simple. Not anything too extraordinary.
So you're acting on behalf of someone else. A stranger? Not your sire?
Not Daddy. No, I don't know who this person actually is. He wore a mask the whole time.
Seems that the stranger has some information that I imagine very few people in the city have. Not even the prince, seeing as she's overlooked the mausoleum a few times.
Yeah, probably.
What exactly does this strange kindred want?
I guess vengeance is probably the best word to use at the moment. He's a little angry. I mean, not a little, like a lot angry. Really just vengeance. From what it sounds like, at least. I don't know, I wasn't really super paying attention.
Vengeance against the city? Or vengeance against my sire?
What would your sire have to do with any of this? Your sire's dead. What would that matter? Like, he's dead, why would he seek vengeance against him?
It matters because it determines whether or not I have to be looking over my shoulder more so than I already am. And whether I have an extra name to add to the list of kindred in this city that I need to introduce to the sunlight for the last time.
Introduced to the sunlight. That seems very serious. As far as I know, personally, which honestly I really don't know that much, it doesn't seem like it's against any specific person. It just sounds like it's against the city. So if that helps you at all.
Could you arrange a meeting with this strange, mysterious kindred that you're working for?
I can certainly try. I mean, I've only met the man once, so.
And the issue of property.
Oh, yes. I just hand her the ring. I'm not fighting. Just.
She looks at the Invictus ring. The goal would be more beneficial than this trinket.
Oh, well, that's all I had or was even aware about was the goal and the ring. So,
Where is the goal now?
the last that I know, he was getting a tour.
And maybe I should visit this tourist location myself.
It's really a rundown place. If you want, I can bring him to you.
That would be even more appreciated.
Certainly.
It's always nice to meet a younger kindred such as yourself with such respect for their elders.
My daddy did teach me how to be very respectful.
Who would your daddy be? Your sire, presumably that would be.
Correct, it would be Adam.
Lord Monroe, he does a good job with his shunts. Although I'm not entirely sure how strong his loyalties are to the current prince, so I wouldn't like to get too nostalgic about the man.
Well, Daddy's been wonderful, so I have nothing but glorious things to talk about my daddy. I mean, if you want to listen about my daddy, I'll be happy to tell you about how great he is.
I'm gonna see the glazed over look on her face as you keep talking about you. I don't think that'll be necessary. Where would be a good place for you to bring the goal, so I can be reacquainted with a familial pet?
Okay. Let's meet back at my penthouse. It's just way better for you. Like, it's way more elegant compared to that shithole that we have.
Oh, this is ours. We're building this shit. Why are you gonna shit talk us like that?
Now she's giving away her location at the expense of keeping ours.
Look at him. I love Dog Boy.
Still hurts nonetheless. Even if it's for our own good, it's painful.
And her location also doubles as a haven for another elder vampire in the city, so less likely to have shit happen.
Yeah, it's clearly a very safe place to do it. Still hurts.
I know the address for Adam's penthouse in the city.
All right. Well, tomorrow night then.
just circle back to the central district and drop me off. I'll find my way back to my car.
Sounds like a great idea. So I drive her, I get her the hell out of my car, and at least I didn't die, so that's already a win for me.
I bet she drives a Volkswagen Beetle.
Something discreet.
Yeah, Volvo.
Like a minivan.
So like
Like a
shit beat up.
Chrysler Town Country.
It's a Ford, some shitty old Ford car. Just
A
something
Ford F-150.
no one will notice her in. While wearing a gleaming white power suit.
Drug dealer.
But yeah. Yeah, she'll get out of the car. You see her disappear down one of the many streets.
Do either one of these knuckleheads have a phone at all?
I do.
Seth does, yeah.
All right, because I'm not going back there. So I'm making a phone call to Seth then.
Yellow.
So I don't exactly know who she was. She was really pretty. I thought I was going to die, so you're welcome that I'm not dead. You're also welcome that I didn't tell them where the house was. We have to make some kind of game plan. We have to hand over the ghoul.
What? We just got him. How do you friend 3 times?
I do need to ask, would it be reasonable that these two went out to hunt, like, together? So, like, Adam is standing next to him as he's having this very animated conversation. He's like, what is happening?
Getting off all the homeless people.
Yeah. Damn it, says you're scaring away all the homeless people.
Thor, just do a couple laps. Just keep them moving around the city block. Being chased by a giant fuck off.
Roll them back to the house.
Hurting them like sheep. Yeah.
Like a sheepdog. Seth, what is going on, Seth?
She said something about giving the ghoul back.
We just got him.
That's what I said. We haven't even found him 3 times yet. Why? Who do we have to give the ghoul back to?
I don't exactly know who she is, but she was part of the family from what it sounds like of what we just finished investigating.
The road?
Yeah. Apparently her brother supposedly got rid of it, but really didn't. So I'm assuming it's Daniel that died, that lied to her and said that he got rid of the ghoul, but didn't get rid of the ghoul. And I didn't feel like dying, and I didn't feel like taking her to the ghoul right away. So we have some time to game plan. She's coming over to Daddy's tomorrow, and yeah, we need to have the ghoul ready, or at least some kind of game plan ready. But between the 3 of us, none of us are very strong. And okay.
Hear me out. We don't give her the. That's it.
Okay, so
I'll put you on speakerphone.
Yeah, okay. So what's the situation here?
You know how you told me to be careful? Well, I didn't really listen. I was hungry, so I stopped off at a club. And I ate and everything was fine until I got back into the car and she was suddenly in the car. And at first I thought it was going to be... I'm assuming it's Daniel's sister from what it sounds like.
Did she look like a bitch?
Oh! Yeah, even more than I do.
Oh, fuck. I think I know who we're dealing with.
Alright, hold on. Anyway,
Adam, you wrote the list of names from the...
Yes, yeah. The names are Philip, Daniel, and Dorothy.
the totem's mom.
Alright.
It's
It
Dorothy.
could be Dorothy. Alright, look. First of all, what did she want the ghoul for? Because clearly the ghoul has value, right? She wouldn't be bartering
Yeah,
with
that's-
lives
that's why we can't
otherwise.
give her the ghoul.
Well, apparently.
I have an answer if you can tell me what I need to look for, though.
Mhm.
Tell me what is important about him.
Apparently, he's the source to find a bunch of important information and to be in charge of everyone else again, like, as far as being the head honcho, from what I understood at least.
It's just a matter of time, right? Beat him a couple more times, and I mean, he'll tell us everything. He has to.
Okay. I didn't want to have to resort to using this on somebody, but my bloodline has the ability to manipulate the memories of torpid individuals.
Only vampires, though.
Oh, ghouls don't fall into torpor?
Ghouls don't go into torpor. No.
Fuck! Never mind. Alright, scratch that then.
They long sleep crumble.
Fuck, right, they age rapidly. Alright, well. If
Oh.
we figure out the information first, and then we just get a head start on it, it's gotta be something to that, right?
Well, maybe I'll just take an Uber there then. I mean, if she's not around at this point, maybe I can just get there, but with a different vehicle. And feed him for one last time, and hopefully that's enough to get at least a little something out of him. I mean, he has only until tomorrow.
Needs to
Or
be
I
the
can go home
same
and talk to Daddy.
vampire 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have time to get him to bind, then. It would have to be one of us individually feeding him 3 times, which I don't think we could do unless if we bloodletted him. Which...
I mean, it doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Which we could do, but it would cause him immeasurable agony, and I don't think he'd be willing to cooperate after that.
Oh, it's probably not. Try to.
So, we need to do this out of good faith, then.
I'd try to.
I know. I know you would.
So
Moving
if
on
we
from
fake your death, we could buy ourselves a little bit more time before she comes snooping around.
it completely not rational to do. How would we fake it? I mean, isn't she super reputable? Doesn't she have a very important sire? I feel like that would be seen through nearly immediately.
That's why it would work. So brave and brazen. Who would do that?
I could just tell Daddy.
You think you'll kill her?
No, but it'll keep me from dying.
That doesn't keep us from dying. Or you from
Do you-
dying later.
That's true. You could only avoid that for so long. Okay. The issue begins now. I trust myself enough, since I am this disgusting underdwelling Nosferatu.
Yep.
If we can get this information, I trust myself enough to get ahead of the information before you have to hand it. Because you just need to be in attendance. We don't need to be there, right?
No, you don't. As far as she knows, I'm the one that has it, and you're just lackeys. So, I mean, you guys are safe.
That seems disgustingly in character.
You didn't give her the house's
Look.
address, did you?
No,
Thankfully.
no, I told her to go to Daddy's.
Very
Like,
courteous
I'm
of
not.
you, admittedly. Alright. If we can get the information out of him in good conscience, and we can do it so where he doesn't have trust for us, then why don't I go ahead to whatever lead he gives us and at least establish a foothold of trying to start getting information, while you hand off the deal, and our beloved Seth here watches over the house temporarily until you return safely, because the worst thing for us to do would be to leave the safe house unguarded while this massive transaction is going on. Because if they were able to find you and track you down, I don't doubt they already know something about the house. It's just a matter of getting a positive identification on it. Does that sound unreasonable?
That's about right.
Good. Okay. Do we have an agreement then? If we can get the info, I'll get us started, and you two carry along with the plan long enough to at least delay their beginning of trying to get information out of him.
Yeah.
Kill him. let's meet back up then.
Alright, Hathor, bring him back around. Take this road.
Lures a homeless person to the two of you.
Let's fucking go. Just like grab him and run away. Okay, I'll dig another grave while we wait for her to get to us.
Oh, I figured we could just leave this one like a fucking name tag.
Oh, you're right. Good. You love the dog, don't you? Yes.
Kevin, this one?
Do we have time to fuck with it?
Is that another dead homeless person?
Dude, who cares? They'll die anyways, alright?
And I'm the monster.
Yeah, both of you.
You're the social monster. We're the practical monsters.
Simple roll. 2 dice pool.
Okay. Simple roll. 2 dice.
Rallying and
Nah,
murdering homeless people as if they're sheep.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Simple roll. 2 dice. 1 success.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you probably, you do it.
I feel bad about it.
Yeah, you're, like, after you've kind of fed the poor guy's like left on the floor, mauled by Hathor. That realization that both of you have literally just treated this homeless person as if it was like a piece of livestock.
Is there gonna
I'm
become a
proud.
point where, like, if like we kill enough homeless people, like we just have to stop rolling humanity, like
You
where there's
just-
just no connection anymore between
You're just
human
gonna,
life and being
you're just
homeless?
gonna make you lose a point automatically. Just like, yep, get rid of a point of
Dude, I don't
humanity.
give-
You don't care.
Killed too many
I don't
homeless
give a
people.
shit anymore. Yeah, you've killed too many homeless people. You have to suffer the psychological consequences.
Yep, been a while since dead homeless people have piled up in Lost Haven. At least they're getting buried here, like, or disguised as not vampire attacks, which has caused issues in the past. But yeah, bring yourselves up to, max. Seth, you're up to 10.
Do I need to
Adam,
give Vatea to my dog?
you're up to 11. Yeah, but he's not used it, or she's not used any yet, so she
max
can
three?
use her max is free. Yeah,
Okay.
she can use Fite to use Figure, or to temporarily bump a physical stat by 2, or to heal. So yeah, you're all meeting back up. There's still maybe a few hours of like night left before the sun starts to rise again. Or just the two, you're going to try and get the information out of the old man.
I feel like we would probably start the coercion as best as we could for the
Okay.
moment.
Danny, what are you doing?
I'm going home to daddy.
Yeah. So yeah, Seth, Adam, deal with you guys with the goal first. You get back home after feeding. You can tell that the place has already been maybe cleaned up. The old man started to pull all the dust cloths and stuff off of furniture and maybe giving everything a bit of a wipe down. You've got like zero cleaning supplies or anything like that in the house.
We need
The
more axes.
We need stuff for getting blood out of the carpet.
Borax and lye added to the grocery list.
Yes, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, I guess. How many points of Vatea does he consume a day?
He doesn't, unless he's using disciplines, he doesn't need to. Or again, he can temporarily bump his physical stats or heal as well. He's an old goal. Very likely he's been around for longer than any of the three of you have been vampires.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Which means potentially he might have decent ranks and discipline.
What are you good at?
Um, I'm trained in a lot of things, Master.
I mean, they didn't like train you as like a defender, Bowser.
Part of my duties was to watch over the Master while he slept during the day.
No shit. Hathor
At
does that.
time,
Compared to the dog.
for the for the ages that resulted in having to see off intruders during the daylight hours.
Oh, I see. All right. So, for the crux of it all, right? I could imagine you are a rather what I would consider a treasure trove of information. Yes.
Suppose you could.
Well, seeing as you're a little more cognizant now than when I was originally trying to convey this idea to you, I'm going to give it another shot to see if we can kind of reach a linear thought process on this. I would personally believe the primary reason that you are left behind in that tomb is because the young Master Daniel is likely to have realized that not only would there be individuals of great power looking to the downfall of the plans that he had been attempting to follow through that had been put into motion, but there would also be individuals that were attempting to continue on these concepts. Set? Are you kind of tracking where I'm going with this?
Indeed, you're talking about the rather nasty business amongst Master Rhodes's peers amongst kindred society.
Welcome in, Raiders. Nerds.wav rating party of 9. Welcome in.
Woo!
Welcome in. Thank you so
Let's
much.
go.
Welcome in, folks.
Then Master Oliver Rhodes, he had been having almost nightly meetings with many respectable members of the First Estate before his unfortunate demise.
Makes sense. Sounds along what I'm kind of getting at then. Would it be unreasonable to then assume that not everyone in the Rhodes family saw eye to eye with Sir Oliver?
That's going to take a presence and persuasion roll.
Oh, presence and persuasion. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll actually get something meaningful out of my rolls. Which I won't, because I never do.
You're...
Whenever
I'm
I
not
do.
sure I know that word. But you need to remember to check the don't reroll 10s option when you make most social roll.
Got it.
But one success, it was an 8, so it doesn't really matter here. You mean sibling disputes, father-child disagreements? Doesn't all families have those?
I think we both understand that given the nature of the deals, a little bit more specific about them.
Specifics about those relationships were that Master Rhodes kept a close eye on his mortal lineage through the years. In fact, one of my many duties was to make sure that those mortal descendants had access to financial assistance, to advice from some of the best legal minds in the area, to using my powers of persuasion during the daylight hours if Master Oliver couldn't attend business in the evening, to make sure that potential business rivals felt inclined to sell when it was most suitable to the Rhodes estate. And during those times, Master Oliver would keep his eye on the most ambitious and keen-minded of his descendants. He sired, over the years, 4 or 5 descendants, only 3 of which have survived, at least until the point that I was put into the mausoleum.
Perfect.
Dorothy is the oldest of the 3. And Daniel is the youngest. And Master Philip, he wasn't so inclined towards the political side of Kindred society at the time. In fact, he'd left the domain well before Master Rhodes got into a dispute with his rivals within the First Estate.
Now, the oldest, the Miss Dorothy, you said the name was?
Yes, Mistress Dorothy is a strong woman, well ahead of her time when she was embraced. I believe now in this century it's common for women to be of a like personality to Miss Dorothy, but
Gotta start watch TV. Just like while you're doing chores and around the house, I can bring you modern age, buddy.
Well, we will. Yeah, we'll handle that in due time. That will come in its own pacing. But about Miss Dorothy, what was her relationship like with Master Oliver?
that would require another presence and persuasion roll.
Can I attempt to use intimidation alternatively?
If you're threatening them in some way,
Kind of more so of like he's starting to get like a little bit short with him. Like
well,
it's
but
visible in his eyes that like he's getting a little agitated with how long it's taking him to get information from him.
yeah, okay.
Okay. And could I use my unnerving stare proficient?
Yeah, you just sort of take a moment to stare right through his soul. Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Or what's left of it.
Right. What remains? Presence and intimidation. +1. Come on. Whatever it did.
Oh,
It's fucking better than nothing, I guess. But
He Mistress Dorothy and Master Oliver's relationship could be tense at times. Obviously, being the oldest of his children, she'd branched out from her sire and established a lot of her own contacts and connections, and had her own life, I suppose, beyond that of his. And along with mortal and kindred connection. It doesn't seem to matter when Master Rhodes decided that he felt it was time for him to become the rightful prince of the domain. Mistress Dorothy wasn't entirely in agreement, but she knew that your kind, how is the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree applies to both human and vampires.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting somewhere now.
And what reason would your previous master have so disgruntled with the system and his work? Go to great lengths, both to themselves and to their family. That obviously ended.
Obviously, I was only privy to some of what happened. Master Rhodes would sometimes speak to himself, even when I was there, as if there wasn't anyone else in the room. I've noticed similar maladies afflict all of the Rhodes kindred over the years I've served the family. Oliver felt that, in terms of age, he was older than the one that the previous prince of the city chose to succeed him. That he was a Fentra, as far as I'm aware, the most proud and honourable of all kindred clans. And that those two things, along with centuries of service to the estate, should have meant that it was rightfully his position. He even had some of the previous prince's children side with him in this disagreement.
Did he do something that caused his own eyes, or was it pre?
He, from all accounts, had at least half the First Estate in agreement with himself. He felt that the current prince, if Olivia Black is still the Prince of Lost Haven, that tension with some other factions within the city would have weakened her position, and that it would have been an easy takeover. From the little that Master Daniel told me when we were on our way to the mausoleum, things did not go to Master Oliver's expectations or plans. Unforeseen events occurred.
Oh. Okay.
Both of you, Derek, you're a member of the Circle of the Crone. Your knowledge of like this time period in the city is a little bit hazy. It would have probably happened. You're only blood potency one. It probably happened just before you were embraced. You know that the Circle haven't always been out in the open in the city, though. And that might have been one of the unforeseen circumstances that he's talking about. Adam, your blood points to 2. You've probably been around a fair bit longer at this point. You remember the Lancia Sanctum, and you probably recall this all happened maybe about 4 or 5 years ago at this point. The former bishop of the Sanctum also made a stab at taking over the city. But the emergence of the Circle of the Crone and the Ordo Draco kind of threw those plans out the window because it gave Olivia Black more support in the city than previously expected.
I'll speak of it. I do recall what you're referencing. The leader of those I align with at the time period would have been one of the individuals pushing for a seat of power, but the emergence of other organizations swung the princedom into the favor of our beloved current leader. And so I can understand the negative backlash of that, as my own organization hasn't truly ever fully recovered.
It relieves me to know that it wasn't a betrayal from within his own side that resulted in my master's final death.
It was more so a lack thereof foresight to something that I don't think anyone truly saw coming.
I see.
Lastly, this could establish that we do have a similar end goal in mind, inevitably, as one particular figure looms now in the background of kind of the backbone of these problems. Fundamentally, I can't say I know a lot of people that agree with the way the princedom is currently handled, but who would say that out loud, right?
This is always the way within kindred society, I've been told.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of that higher life in kindred society, Danny, you like the high-rise building, one of the few that are actually in Lost Haven, has underground parking. You can pull your car into and get your, you've got your special key that gets you access up to the penthouse floor. And as the elevator doors open, you're met with the lush sight, sound, smells that come with the apartment that your sire keeps here. As the sort of elevator doors open, Adam emerges from one of the rooms that kind of come off of the main room. Daenerys? Another late evening for you?
Yeah, Daddy. It's been kind of crazy. Do you have some time to talk?
Or my only child, of course. I always have time to talk.
Such a wonderful daddy.
Gross.
I'm a
Gross.
fucking I hate how this is going.
I'm sorry.
Shall we get ourselves comfortable?
Okay. Who's that? So I did something. I know you're kind of aware of it. I'm not exactly sure how aware of it you are, but it was all with really good intentions. I swear, Daddy. I figured if you didn't like it, it would just be extra information for you. But I got contacted, and I don't exactly know who they were. They had a mask on, and long story short, they're wanting to take over the city again, and I agreed to help, and everything was going fine at first. But we went into a mausoleum and found a ghoul. The ghoul was like almost dead. Like it was pretty bad, Dad. Like he smelled horrible. Like no joke. Like it was bad.
No cap. Dad.
Anyway.
Okay. For real, oh god.
Anyway, so he was given some blood. We brought him back to I guess our little it's just a little nook. Just to go ahead and get some information from him to kind of figure out what was really going on. Because it was one of our tasks that we needed to go ahead and do. And again, like I said, I didn't really know who he was. And I didn't think it was a big deal. Anyway, I was hungry. And so I stopped off at a club to grab food real quick. And everything was fine up until the point that I got into my car. And this higher vampire, by the way, like, no joke, like, she's dumb. You know, I thought, like, when you were giving me training and, like, you pulled the moves on me to go ahead and show dominance and everything, like, that was bad. Dad, this was, like, a whole different world. And it really wasn't fun. At all. Like, seriously. Anyway, I ended up telling her the same information. And she wants the ghoul. And I really didn't know what was going on, so I kind of told her to come here tomorrow, and so I figured I should give you a heads up so that you knew what was going on. I'm sorry, Daddy, if I did the wrong thing.
He you see like the absolute focus on his face to keep calm and take in all that information. To break this down, you've agreed to work for an unknown vampire that I might know. I'll revisit this at a later point. You visited the mausoleum and found the half-starved ghoul.
Yep.
Which mausoleum was it? That might give me some inclination as to who we're dealing with.
Someone want to help me for a second, because I totally don't remember.
The Rhodes
Rhodes.
Mausoleum.
Rhodes Mausoleum.
You went to the Rhodes Mausoleum.
And I'm pretty sure, Daddy. Sorry.
And then some kindred questioned you about the ghoul, demanded that they be handed back to them.
Yeah.
And you arranged for here. My home to be the location.
Yes.
Describe this other vampire for me.
Really regal, super pretty. I'm pretty sure she's Daniel Rhodes' sister, based on what she was saying, because she was under the assumption that her brother got rid of the ghoul, but didn't actually get rid of it. So I'm pretty sure, from what my last conversation was, that it's Dorothy.
That would line up. Dorothy Rhodes. Back here. That's going to cause a fair amount of trouble.
And I'm pretty sure the mask guy, you've been writing letters. We all, well, I got a text message. The others, well, two of the others got letters, and the handwriting was the same. And when I asked, he said you were kind of aware of what was going on, or was informed of what was going on.
I have been receiving correspondence from London from a former inhabitant of this city that I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw them, to be fair.
Pretty sure that's the guy, because he said he ran away to London and now he's come back for like revenge.
Then you, my dear, are currently doing work for one Derek Winters, former voice of the Carthian movement, leader of the neonates of the city, and their uprising against the tyranny of elders. Now he's become one such elder. But a change in leadership within the city might not be without merit, just as long as it's not him. He sort of looks at you like very clearly implying that he would very much like to be Prince of the City at some point. So, for now, Rhodes must have, or no, Winters must have gave the Rhodes Mausoleum to you for a reason. Probably to lure one of Oliver's upset, frustrated children out to make a deal with. And well, we have Dorothy, who not as pliable as Daniel would have been, being closer to yourself in age. But I suppose her age comes with some merit. Although he's playing with fire if he thinks he's going to be able to control her in any meaningful way. The girl most likely does have information that Rhodes managed to pull together before he met Final Death. Some of it might be harmful, some of it might be mundane. If you and your newfound allies can get that information out of the girl before we hand them over to Dorothy, which, if they have any brain cells, they're probably already trying to them, then it mitigates the advantage that the girl will give her. But, my dear, we are now playing a freeway game of chess.
You're not mad at me, are you?
There would have been better ways, better places to arrange a handover such as that. I'll just need to make sure that I keep the Prince's eyes and ears on all of her council members off of this apartment for the evening.
So my friends, they are actually trying to get the information out of the ghoul, beforehand. Is there anything else you want us to go ahead and try to do?
Now, Dorothy was never one for brute force. Although she's maybe not quite as old as me as a Fentra, but I suspect that her power of dominate and the use of dominate is quite potent.
Yeah, I can vouch for that.
Might want to have at least one of your new allies with you here, so that if she tries to dominate one of you, the other one can try and neutralize the issue.
Okay.
Because I won't be here to oversee this handover, as I will be distracting the prince.
Okay.
Do you have anyone in this little circle who is capable of that?
Yeah. No, there's someone that I definitely would go ahead and trust more. Not so much him, but his dog is definitely very reliable. He's a very loyal dog.
Dog is good. A gold dog, a hellhound.
Hellhound.
I don't ever recall Dorothy being one for animals, so I don't imagine her skill in the animalism disciplines are all that sharp. Maybe that's a trick I'll teach you at some point. You've seen Adam deal with animals and speak to them and command them in a way that requires a little bit more of a supernatural touch than just being good at training them as well. And I suggest that we both rest for the day. You mentally prepare yourself for this meeting. If things go well, then I think I will be quite impressed that you're able to handle business with an elder member of the clan.
I'll try to make you proud, Daddy.
I'll spend my last few hours before I go to sleep thinking of something to tell the prince to distract her attention from here. You don't make things easy for me, do you?
Just my nature, Dad.
Rest. With that, you guys are both to go. You've got some information about the Rhodes family relationships, the power structure. From what you can gather, just to kind of streamline it, is Oliver would have been obviously the family patriarch, he's the head vampire. And Dorothy was the oldest of the three surviving kindred to be spawned from him. They probably may or may not have children of their own. That was never ever brought up. But clearly they didn't embrace from the mortal Rhodes family if they did. And yeah, Dorothy's an older vampire, which means you guys are going to have to be careful when dealing with her.
Yeah, she gets snap us all like.
From what Daenerys been told, physically she's not a threat, but the fact that she could probably make you snap your own neck is always a risk.
Some fear to be had there, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah. You've gathered a lot of information. The sun will be rising in a few hours' time. You're probably going to have to spend the earlier part of the next evening getting as much information, if there's anything more you want to learn from the guild before this little meetup. But then, hopefully next session you'll also have little brains, all muscle, and maybe even a fabulous new guest in the form of Joey California. I'm pretty sure he's a good distraction to have.
Roll in 5 deep and let Chuck do all the distraction work while we do all the other shit.
But yeah, call it there for tonight. Then everything's set up for next session.
Well, thank you, Andy. This was a blast, dude, as always. So much fun to play and all of your... Everybody else here, Paul, Jen, and Gilbon, I really appreciate it much. Let's do our shout-outs, folks, while I find somebody for us to rate and start us off, Jen.
Hey, Ironim, 23. I have a Twitch account. Do I really use it? Not at all. Pretty much you're going to find me on here. You're going to find me on Andy's Twitch. Otherwise, I pretty much am too busy actually running around. That's everything I have to say.
Well, thank you for being here. Much appreciated, much always.
Yeah, it's always good.
Hell yeah. New friend Shiobon. What's up?
Yes. Hi. Yes. I have some new developments. Aside from the usual stuff that I plug, my Instagram specifically, I am officially now the lead vocalist for a post-hardcore band out of Rhode Island called Orange Peaks. You can find them on Instagram at Orange Peaks. I told them that I would plug them today. I'm just super glad to be able to be a part of this. Honestly, being able to sub in for Talia was super awesome. This is the first live streamed gaming event that I've partaken in, so I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Hey, you're doing great. Honestly, can't even tell you're natural.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah.
Andy, my homie.
Yeah, I'm all shit at this. I'm Lost Haven Art everywhere, mostly. Sometimes Lost Haven games, just to confuse people. But yeah, I do art stuff. I have art commissions open. I draw pretty pictures, I suppose. I do a lot of tabletop roleplay stuff, usually here on a Sunday. Running something. And on a Wednesday, my own Twitch, Lost Haven Art. Keep forgetting I've changed the name. Where we rotate between a long running campaign, which at the moment is some Middle Earth goodness with the One Ring second edition, and alternate Wednesdays we do a one shot of a different game system, then we review it a couple of weeks later. Last game we did was Lancer. This Wednesday we're doing the review for Lancer. The reviews are usually short and sweet, maybe an hour and a half tops. If we don't ramble, which happens. But yeah, so usually doing tabletop stuff. Me and Derek do collab things for 5e content, which is funny because Derek knows all the mechanics and stuff, and I just draw pretty pictures for it, because I don't actually play D&D all that often. But it's fun to draw pictures for and then read all the lore and stuff that Derek writes, because he's really good at that sort of stuff. Me and Chuck, who will be hopefully joining us next week, and who's usually on the channel on a Sunday, are
Sorry, Chuck.
doing a few projects together, which are slowly coming together, because I'm bad at keeping focused at one thing at a time,
You got a
and
lot of
so
things going on.
is Chuck. So yeah,
Too hard on yourself. You got a lot of stuff.
I had to, but it's all good. Like, I have multiple game systems that I'm currently putting together. Some are more streamlined and lighter rules than others, and different themes. Usually, like to run dark, gritty, serious campaigns, but then occasionally I like to pop in something light and fluffy and stuff like Ryutama, where like it's a Studio Ghibli movie and a role playing game.
I don't even know how you play that. I honestly have no idea
Oh,
how that
it's
even works.
so good.
Just talk about
Such a
food
good
for
game.
2 hours is all I can imagine. You just sit around and you talk about food for like hours.
like I did a one shot for Lion Night. They were doing a charity event over the weekend for raising money for abortion rights in the US, and I did a one shot of Ryutama. And the game ended where they found a camp of oinklings, which are like pig-type goblin people, who stole a bunch of fireworks in the town so they could have their own festival.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
And then they decided they were going to make masks out of leaves and stuff and sneak into the camp, and then realised what the oinklings were doing and decided to, they were going to have a party with them.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
It was after they killed a few of them on the way to the camp, but like overlooked that. Yeah, and they made a deal between the village that they were from and this like group of weird pig people to like jointly celebrate the festival from that point on, because wholesome as fuck is what Ryutama is. It's a good game. It's got interesting mechanics. I am heavily borrowing some of the mechanics for the JRPG inspired game that I'm designing, but mixing it along with loads of other things. And yeah, if you're looking for a light-hearted game to play, I would highly recommend it. You won't find that here on a Sunday.
Won't find that on the channel, typically.
Yeah, you might find it on like my One Ring campaigns, a bit more wholesome, a bit lighter on a Wednesday. And doing one-shots of games, obviously, we sometimes do lighter games that are a bit nicer. But yeah, I doubt Derek would let me run anything like that.
It's not that I wouldn't let you run it, it's just that I wouldn't know if I would want to play it, and I love you.
Beat your head against the wall.
Yeah, I'd be like, god damn it, Andy, let me fucking commit war crimes. Come on, man.
But yeah, I like to intersperse my dark and gritty with some wholesome fun from time to time, because I'm a complicated individual like that. But yeah, I've rambled enough.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you for running the show today. Much love, much appreciated as always. This has been a weekend here at DMDM Studios. I want to take a moment to say thank you to everybody for being here in chat. Everybody for raiding. Oh my goodness, I can't believe the raids today. Play Nerd Allies and Nerds.wave. You guys are insane. Thank you so much. It means the world. All the support that everybody gives us, it really means the world to me. Thank you so much. My fellow cast and Andy for running it. It's much appreciated. Stick around, we're going to be raiding into Huntsman's Hydra. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what you can expect from the channel for the next week. Tomorrow we are finishing Curse of Strahd, Rise of Alma. It is a D&D 5e one-on-one. My meet space best friend of 17 years. So tune in for that. That's going to be pretty climactic. It's going to be a long old boss fight. No stream Tuesday. Wednesday we have Mouse Guard, which is probably the closest thing I can get. Somewhere we're playing like little Redwall style campaign, like little rodents. I'm a weasel, but like I'm also a vicious killer. It's got both, I guess. So I guess it's kind of wholesome and kind of
Doubles up.
yeah, Dark Souls boss. because anytime you fight anything that's like larger than you, it's like a boss. No stream Thursday. Friday, Saints and Sinners Sequence 2. So excited for that. So Runners in the Shadows, which is a Blades in the Dark hack actual play on this channel run by me. Super fun. On Saturday, Bloodmore, I believe, at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, hosted by AmperSanD20. And then on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Covet Syndicate, rejoined by our good homie G. So cannot wait for that. Good night, everybody. We love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you. I will see you tomorrow. Bye!
Bye. I accidentally closed the camera. But it's all good. We're at the end.
Yep, we are.